Give me the moat. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. I feel absolutely sick. Sick to my stomach. My God. A terrible loss. And then it looks like Jack Hughes done for the season, probably. I mean, wow. I don't think it was intentional by Eichel. I do think they're kind of friendly. You saw Eichel's response there at the end, but my God. I'm devastated. The season's over. It's probably that same shoulder that's been a problem. I mean, it's just so crazy. What a swing, the worst period of all time. I mean, feeling so good, going from a potential win in this game to a loss, and Jack Hughes probably done for the season. I mean, it doesn't get any worse. It looks very bad for Jack. The only thing you could hope is that somehow it's nothing major like with Luke Hughes last night, but it doesn't seem it. He grabbed, it looked like he was bracing. You couldn't really tell if he was holding his arm to kind of brace the shoulder or if it was a wrist. Either way, the whole way he kind of went gliding into the end boards. Just tragic. Absolutely tragic. And can you guys even hear me? I don't even know. I mean, this is the sound just cut out. Can you guys hear me? Oh, wait, I got to get the booze, guys. I need to get my medicine. I'll be back 1 second. I'm trying to half pay attention to Salvador. I mean, this is the shit show. Complete shit show. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. I got to grab the medicine to medicate here because this was just trash. Absolute trash. I'll be back 1 minute. I forgot. I ran in here to start this early, and it's just terrible. Wow. What a dark night in franchise history. I'll be back 1 minute. I got to get the booze. Be right back.
It's going to come down to special teams when you are going down the stretch here towards the playoffs.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at those pair of power play goals for the Vegas Golden Knights into the third period, and this one came 90 seconds into the final frame. Jack Hughes got called for interference, sending the Devils onto the penalty kill, and the Golden Knights were able to work the point at the start of this power play opportunity. You'll see Noah Hampton wind up for the shot here, and Markstone was able to deflect this right in front of Markstrom. Nothing he could do in an opportunity like this.
Well, yes, this is a clean face-off win, and we're going to talk about this being one of the key moments of both of Vegas's power play goals. And Vegas has been very good on the power play as of late, and as they move the puck up high, what they try to do is they plant Hurdle and Stone in front of the net. These two guys are specialists when it comes to taking away the sight lines or getting their stick on pucks that are coming through. And we saw it at first. We thought maybe it was a double deflection.
And this is a penalty no team ever wants to take. Too many men on the ice for New Jersey, and this is why we put so much emphasis on winning the faceoffs, especially when a team is on the power play. You win it cleanly back to the point. Hanifin once again walking the blue line.
Unbelievable. What a terrible night, guys. I feel sick to my stomach. I mean, the loss was bad enough, but then to lose Jack Hughes, oh, my God. What a travesty. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to you guys. This is going to be pour one out for the New Jersey Devils 24-25 season. At this juncture with Jack Hughes being out, I think it's a complete wrap. It is a complete wrap. We're going nowhere. We're going nowhere without the let me lower the volume. I can't hear. We're going nowhere without the friggin'
Well, Jack was having a fantastic game up until that point. 3 shots recorded.
We're going absolutely nowhere without Jack Hughes. Cheers to you guys. Marty Brodeur's vodka, Dirty Devil vodka. Numb your pain. Numb the season that was just lost. Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka, the great Martin Brodeur. Dirty Devil vodka, smooth as hell. I'm gonna put a little seltzer in here. I'm just beside myself. I mean, this is just And we had the Luke scare last night, but tonight was the final blow, man. I just wanted to get into the playoffs and try to make a run, but it's over. It's completely over. I'm going to put a little seltzer in here. I mean, this is just absolutely tragic, guys. It's been a fun season. I love all of you, but holy shit. What a disaster. Cheers, guys. Win or lose, we booze. Win or lose, our franchise player goes down with injury. I mean, my God, I'm going to get sauced. I'm going to get absolutely sauced tonight. This is just tragic. Jeter Toker, thanks, man. We got the super chat with the crying face. And that's certainly how I feel. Wow. Sheldon Keefe ejected. He looked dead. I think he may have went unconscious briefly. Did his head make contact? I don't even know. I just lost my mind. But thanks to the super, Jeter. I'm distraught, guys. I am absolutely distraught. Chico says to his credit, Eichel looked devastated. I think they just crashed at the wrong spot in the right. I think their skates got tangled up. And he kind of took his foot out. James says it wasn't his shoulder. He broke his wrist. Rob, the season kind of sucks. The season just took an absolute nosedive. Absolute nosedive, and I am clinically depressed now. There's no way around it. I am clinical. It doesn't get much worse, honestly. I mean, Markstrom comes back. We survive the Luke Hughes scare last night, and then Jack goes down tonight. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I think we're about 5-10 steps back at this juncture. I don't even know anymore, guys. This was just for Jack Hughes to probably be gone for the year. And at this point, even if it's close, they're going to shut him down like they did last year. They shut him down with, a handful of games left. BC, this is why I laugh when fans say Jack is gritty and tough. Because of his scuffle with Aho 2 years ago in the playoffs, the guy is an unbelievable player, but he's built like a 13-year-old. John Woodson, Jack has gotten to the board several times lately. He had to get hurt eventually. I don't even know. I really don't even have any words. James says, Ace, in no way do you make a move now. You punt to next season. Jack cannot be replaced. I mean, I'm curious to know, is there any chance that he could be back in a couple? I mean, what was the stat? I think the stat coming into the game yesterday maybe was Jack Hughes was on the ice for 20 of the Devils' previous 25 goals for, it should be 80%. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that Jack Hughes is the entire offense, I don't know what will. And for him to go down like that, Beachmaster says get his money off the books and make a move by Friday. That would be ballsy. I mean, listen, that could somewhat, but then we would have to figure out how to move major money in the offseason. I mean, listen, I would respect Fitz for trying to salvage the season, but at this juncture, I don't know that that's going to happen. I can't see it. I mean, to go put him on LTIR immediately and then go make a huge move. I mean, then you're talking about, to bring in a top end guy like that. What are you parting with? I mean, at this point, it's looking like we're going to pack it up. I hate to say it. And I feel like I'm going to throw up on my keyboard, but this was just, what a travesty. Jeter Toker, a dark night in franchise history. Did Ace just say that? Yeah, I did. This is tragic. Woodson, Sal was an idiot when he was saying we shouldn't play wagon hockey. That's literally how we score, bro. Brandon says, can you guys believe we had a franchise record 2 seasons ago? Seems like a lifetime ago. What's it, Toya? Post-game is really trying to make it seem like the game was so close. I mean, in fairness, it was fairly close through 2 periods. And then we got 2 power play goals against in the third and then everything else. But it was a game through 2 periods. we were getting slightly outplayed, in my opinion, but it wasn't like we were being dominated. I believe we were very much in the game, and the scoreboard reflected that. 0-0 after 2. Dire Straits say Rangers are making it. Devils are collapsing out. Diego says, is our GM watching the Oscars because he's clueless? The handsome Devil 87. Jack needs to eat some meat. Is he a vegetarian or something? Seamus equals Rafalski 2.0. There goes the season. Alex, Jack Street bounced off the boards, man. No way that injury ain't serious. Our team didn't do shit for Marky tonight. I agree. What's a toy? We barely had high danger scoring chances. Something they love to bring up, might I add, and you didn't hear them mention it once tonight. We had a couple decent chances, but not nearly enough. Dire Straits is a cold, hard truth. You don't wait on your ass to make moves. Jury made the moves. Now his team has cap space. Jeter Toker, the hope I had for this team after that game 7. The hope I had for this team after that game 7 2 years ago. Yeah. BC, this is why I think I already read this. Woodson, if Jack keeps getting hurt, it'll be a waste of a first overall pick. Everyone hates me for wanting to trade him. Richard Tompkins says, can we ban some of these trolls? The sky is falling, guys. Holy shit. Dire Straits, the more he gets injured, the less other teams will want him. Brian J., red light special. This team is tragic. Team is going nowhere. I'm fed up supporting this team. Why, God, why? Beachmaster says Devils can compete minus Jack. Oh, Beachmaster. I want some of what you're drinking, my man. On the ice, Jack was on the ice for 20 of our previous 25 goals. I mean, he is the entire offense. Gem card collecting, Jack to LTIR and get Tuck now. Was it that loud in the background? I mean, it is what it is. If they ding me, whatever. Gem card, we are arguably a better team in the playoffs without Jack if we bring in a star player. Where are we getting a star player from? Matthias, the injury might make Fitz more hesitant. Why giving up assets of 86 is injured? Brian J. says we're not going anywhere with Jack. John Woodson, Buffalo would be nuts to give up Tuck, plus they're already thin the forwards. It'll never happen. Isaiah, my bad for the reality check. 25, isn't that Jason or not? We have no cup without 25 game 7. I'm a little lost on that. Alex, another reason for bigger buys on this team, or are we officially cooked, chat? Is Fitzy going to make a move? At this point, with Jack being down, your guess is as good as mine. It's either he packs it in. He either packs it in or tries to do something dramatic. He either packs it in or tries to put him on LTIR and make a hero move. I don't see him doing it. Joseph says, Fitz, you got to make some trades. Don't repeat last year's stupidity. Woodson, why are we dooming before we know the official injury? Because given his history, it did not look good. And again, I myself and many in the chat were completely wrong last night. Hold on, Keefe's. Let me see what Keefe says. He got the boot. I want to see what Keefe has to say. What a nightmare. We need Tuck. They're not going to trade Tuck. Oh, Keefe's talking. Let's see. The effort was there. The effort's always there. I'm blacking out tonight, guys. Cheers to all of you. Keefe looks kind of pissed, at least for him. But wow. He's talking about Markstrom look good. I mean, looking for an update on Jack. He's being evaluated. It's tough. Oh, my God. He was talking about how he got ejected. He was swearing. Oh. Yeah, he got out of there quick. Keefe with one of the shortest post-game pressers. My God. When it rains, it pours, guys. I literally feel sick to my stomach. I don't think we dodge another bullet here. We dodged one with Luke last night. I think Jack's done. And I don't think they're going to try to rush him back. And so, you know, what's the playoffs are 6 weeks away. If we somehow could scrape and claw to hold on to a wild card spot, he could maybe be back for the playoffs. I mean, I'm very curious now how this impacts Fitz's decisions for the trade deadline, right? I mean, I could see him being like, this is the perfect out to once again talk about the future. I will be furious. But at this point, this was a variable I did not see coming whatsoever. I didn't see Jack going down, and I'm gutted. Jay Snow, I don't want to see the shit next year. Time to break this core up. Chico, I've gone down with every ship since 0203. I'm going down with this one too. I will too. I absolutely will too, Chico. But my God, this is terrible. Ryan says the wrist looks broken. Dire straits. Woodson, we've seen this movie before. Woodson, we may make a better run without Jack. BC, say what you want, but most players in the 90s were built like tanks. They weren't getting injured constantly. I blame the training staff, coach, and idiot Fitz for not enforcing proper training. Jack Hughes gets hurt every year. My goodness, why? Wow. Absolutely disgusting, guys. Yeah, we're not going to hear anything definitive on Jack probably for a couple days. Cody Skills, since we lost our guy, who are we looking to trade for at the NHL trade deadline? At this point, Fitz might shut it down. Who even knows? I have no way to really even guess how this is going to affect Fitz. I could see it going one of both ways. He either goes into superhero mode or he says, you know what? It's not the right time. And then he uses it as a kind of reason to not buy. We really have no one to sell. So, I mean, in terms of people saying, oh, now we're going to be sellers, like we have no one to sell outside of maybe Kovacevic, I guess, could be a sold piece outside of him and potentially Jake Allen. But I've explained before, I do think Fitz kind of made a deal with him that he wasn't going to do that. John Fay, before we get too worried about our season, we first need to get an update on Jack first, then we can worry. I'm already worried. I'm beyond worried. Did not look good. Beachmaster says Eichel's better than Hughes. Gem card, this forces Fitz to fix the team. It's a good thing. I don't think about so. Antonio, wait, what happened with Jack? Was he able to get skated off? Yeah, he skated off, but he was hunched over in pain. He crashed into the end boards, and he either seriously hurt his shoulder or wrist or something, and he was hunched over, writhing in pain, and immediately down the tunnel. Rob, see if Jack is gone, can Devils try to trade some of these deadweight forwards to playoff contenders? Rob, do you think any playoff contenders want any of these guys? Do you think any of these guys with 10, 12 points are going to be a valuable addition to any playoff team? There's absolutely no way. They're worthless, unfortunately. Dire straits. Fitzgerald needs to be fired. M. Sharp, wait for update. Man. Jay Snow, I don't blame Jack. I hope Eichel tears his asshole. Alex, damn, Ace, sorry, man. Sucks. I haven't seen you like this since you started the channel. This is probably one of the lowest points for me since I've had the channel, if I'm being honest. I mean, given where we were in the season and, you know, in this final home stretch, coming off the big win last night in this game, tied up 0-0, Markstrom's return going into the third period, and then to just, you know, get victimized for 2 power play goals and then to have Jack crash into the boards in the very end of the game, which could be a season-ending injury. I mean, my God. Woodson, I'll take Eichel after his contract. I would love Eichel. Eichel's a stud. John Fay, Keefe was ejected for showing emotion behind the bench. Alex, I watched the replay of Jack. It's bad. It looked bad in real time, and on the few replays they showed during the game, it looked bad. Louis, as if things weren't bad enough. BC, Fitz has an excuse now to sit on his ass and do nothing, and that very well could be. It very well could be. Joseph, I'm not paying this month for the Disney bundle with ESPN Plus. I don't want to pay and watch the Devils continue to struggle the rest of the season. Ryan Fisher, he looks like he has a broken wrist to me. It's something bad. Whatever it is, it's bad. Yusuf Phoenix missed the game. What happened to Jack? He awkwardly got his skates tangled up with Jack Eichel, went crashing into the end boards at a decent speed, and came up holding his wrist, shoulder, kind of bent over, making the faces, and immediately went down the tunnel, and it looks terrible. Ryan Demand, does anyone know what happened to Keefe, why he was ejected? So he basically cursed off the refs, and he was complaining that the play with Eichel was way more of a penalty, in his opinion, than the penalty Jack got called for, which led to the Golden Knights' first goal. That first power play they got was a penalty on Jack Hughes. He kind of got tangled up with somebody when he was coming back to try to cover the man, going towards the net. They got a little tangled up, and I thought it was a little bit of a soft penalty. Keefe was mad at that one when it got called at the moment, but then he really blew up when this play happened with Eichel and Jack because he thought it was way worse. Way worse than the play with Jack. Stanley 62495 can't comment about the game because I genuinely can't stand to watch his team any longer, but I saw the Jack injury. He was tripped, but he's also a wimp that would get pushed around in the WPHL. Chris's treasure chest, any updates on Jack? No, we're not going to get any till tomorrow. Joseph says fire Tom Fitzgerald after the season. Fentanyl Floyd, Jack hasn't played a full season yet in his career. Jay Snow, this team blows anyway, Ace, let's be honest. I mean, they I don't think they blow. I don't, but this has just been a complete gut punch for me tonight. Dire Straits Keats was ejected because he thought Eichel should have been penalized. Gem card, Jack did absolutely nothing in Four Nations. He won't be a big playoff loss. Trade for a star player, move Jack to LTIR, bring in Tuck and Evans. What are you trading to get Tuck? Furthermore, the Four Nations to me is not indicative of the playoffs per se. I mean, yes, it's a more physical kind of hockey, but in the end, even playoff teams, their rosters aren't stacked like they were in the Four Nations. Like the Four Nations are basically Olympic teams. Those are the best hockey teams that really could be assembled. Chico, Meyer, Jesperbratt, and double shift them. There's no other choice. Stanley, even worse, the imbecile GM gets another get-out-of-jail-free card to justify his awful work. That's very possible. What is it, Toya? Is it wrong to think Eichel should have an interference call? I mean, maybe, but in the end, right, the game was over, and Jack's probably done for the year. So at this point, who the hell cares? The penalty call or not is just so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Like I could care less at this point. Dire Straits, Fitzgerald needs to be fired tonight. That's definitely not going to happen. Jay Snow, the team's allergic to scoring. It certainly seems like that. And again tonight, another night where goals couldn't be generated. Jeter Toker, I need to see Fitz on the mic to address this fan base ASAP. I don't think it's going to happen until after the deadline. I really don't. James Roman, am I the only one who's unimpressed with how Keefe has seemingly killed our offense? Focusing on defense is awesome, but hot damn, so many shutouts against. I'm not going to blame Keefe for that either. At some point, you have to look at the group and say, this is on the players. To constantly blame a coach, like, he's not out there shooting pucks wide or into goalie pads. It's unfortunate. I'm just so sick to my stomach, guys, because wow, what a horrible time for this to happen. I'm gonna puke. Brian, the season nosedive New Year's versus Anaheim. They've been shit ever since. Louis says the team is 100% screwed without Jack. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack tripped over a hockey stick. John Fake, can we all just hope and pray that Jack isn't seriously injured, even though we all know it may be long-term? Yeah, of course, but it just looks terrible now. Wow. Just wow. Artie, turnover machine because of his play. We have lost 13 games because of his dumb plays. Use that $8 million on Friday and get someone who doesn't fall on his ass 3 times per game. I mean, a lot of you are like, oh, put him on LTIR and go get somebody. Like, who will we get? Like, what pieces are we using to get a guy that makes this kind of money? I'd be so curious. Alex, leave it to the Devils to fall apart in the end. Like, come on, it gets old fast. Stanley 62495. I cannot stress enough how dire the situation is with this management team being allowed to stay in place. Jay Snow, another year of no playoffs. This core has to be split up. That's it. I agree. You miss the playoffs now, it's a wrap. You're never getting it done, and it's time to move on. But again, I've explained my issue with this. My biggest issue with breaking up the core is that in reality, the only core player that would potentially be traded, in my opinion, is Jesperbratt, and I don't really want to trade him. They're all in on the Hughes business. Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes are never being traded. So that's number one. You have to realize, as much as people want to talk about it and come up with all these scenarios, the owners are never trading the Hughes brothers. So right away out of the core, that Jack is off the table. I do believe Nico being the captain, I think the franchise likes him a lot. I don't think they're looking to get rid of him. And Timo Meier is the only one of 3 remotely tough, heavy forwards that we have. And so I don't think they're going to move him. So when you do process of elimination, if we're talking about breaking up the core, it all points back to Jesperbratt being the one shipped out. And I think that would be a mistake. John Woodson, if you make a move to replace Jack, you're selling the farm for a rental that you can't re-sign in the summer. That's kind of where I'm at too, Woodson. Like, who are you getting and for what? Wow. The handsome Devil 87 replaced Jack with Luke and put Casey in Luke's spot. They're not going to put him at forward. A lot of you guys like to come up with video game kind of stuff. Like, yeah, put Luke Hughes at forward. Like, how do you think that would work out? Jeter Toker says there's no way he's not concussed as well. Oh, even better. Woodson, first 40 minutes were solid. We still struggled with offense, but the D had it locked down. Yeah, I agree. We were very much in the game. Very much in the game, and it all fell apart in the third period, and more ways than one. Gem Card says, Jack will never play a full season. He ain't a champion, never will be. Jace, no, we can't get to the gritty areas. We're too soft. Stanley 62495, Jack is in the league 6 seasons now, and no one in the organization felt it necessary for the franchise player to put some weight on. The stupidity and competence is truly astonishing. Listen, I think in an ideal world, everyone wanted him to get bigger, but he was rehabbing from a surgery from being injured last season and probably couldn't do shit all summer long. And here we are. Ryan, are we not even going to do the game stats? Oh, let's do the game stats for you, Ryan. Mine as well, right? I can't even focus right now. I mean, the game stats are pretty close too. Game stats. Devils, 25 shots on goal. Vegas Golden Knights, 24. Devils, 51% face-offs. Golden Knights, 49%. Devils, 0 for 1 on the power play. Golden Knights, where they won the game, 2 for 4 on the power play. Devils, 23 hits. Golden Knights with 20 hits. Devils, 12 block shots. Golden Knights with 10 block shots. Devils, 18 giveaways. Golden Knights, 12 giveaways. Devils with 2 takeaways. And the Golden Knights with 5 takeaways. And, yeah. Wow. Pretty close game. I mean, you can't say that it wasn't a close game till the end, and then it just fell apart. BC, we get Marky back. The guy plays out of his mind. Team does nothing in front of him, and Jack gets injured. Par for the course. Captain Mafungo Fitzgerald again waited to add players just like he did last year. Jack getting hurt should not deter Fitz from getting fired. Dude is a ghost. Insane Pollock Mercer's terrible clear was the reason why Vegas's power play was given multiple chances to win the faceoff. And this is where I said to the point where I said unlucky. A couple things were unlucky. Number one, the first faceoff that Halla won, yeah, Mercer had Mercer had a terrible clear, and something happened. Somehow there was another faceoff, and on the second one, I believe we had a clearing attempt that went into the bench or went out of play somehow, and then Halla had to win a third draw in a row. He couldn't win the third one, and then that was the 2-0. But it didn't matter. It was over after the first goal. We weren't scoring shit tonight. It's completely terrible. The sky is indeed falling, and I'm stunned. I'm completely stunned. Doug looked like he not only hurt his wrist, but knocked out from the impact. At least 2 weeks for a concussion alone. Force 831, time to face facts. Devils have great players, but they're not a good team. The mix is all wrong. SST must have made a new name. M Sharp, Jack needs a full-time bodyguard. Ryan Fisher, they seriously might not score another goal this season. It's actually impressive how shitty of an offensive team we've assembled. Woodson, I mean, if Fitz went and got someone and then Jack got hurt, that would have been wasted assets. I can't believe this is what we're talking about. It's crazy. Devils fan Josh, if we think we had trouble scoring, just wait until we see what we are like without Jack. This is an absolute catastrophe. I don't know if this is the real SST or someone else. Ace, don't ban me again. I'll behave. Stanley says he should have been fired last season. Andrew Harvey, sad how we have dropped like this. Even weeks before Four Nations face-off, I can see them missing the playoffs. Louis, the team is cooked without Jack. I don't know what moves Fitz could even make at this point. Oh, my God. I got to just... What's going on, Mary? Hey, Ace, haven't been able to make it on a post-game live lately. Had to hop on to hear your thoughts. Was that the same shoulder Jack injured last season? I couldn't remember. I'm not even sure if it's the shoulder, Mary, but either way, the kid looks like he's broken. I don't know if you saw the game. He was bent over, kind of holding his arm, forearm, wrist. It's all over, Mary. This season went to hell all in a matter of a couple minutes tonight, and I feel sick. Completely feel sick. Allison, Fitz blew it last season, not upgrading the goaltending, and this season he's done the same thing, not upgrading the center depth. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if we brought in some help earlier, but there's going to be so many things, guys, to look back on. It's just unbelievable. I just cannot believe. Fuck. I just can't believe it. I don't see outside of. Yeah, I just don't see any scenario where this ends well, guys. I think we probably could still get into the playoffs. But we're going to get destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. Crossy, if Jack is out, do you feel the season is over? In what way? I mean, could we possibly still stagger into the playoffs? I suppose that is possible. I'm not going to say making the playoffs is out the window for entirely, but in terms of being able to do any sort of damage in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure that's that ship has sailed. We might get into the playoffs. We're going to get killed. Yusuo, Phoenix, Jack needs to hit the gym. Stop hanging out on Washington. I'm assuming you're talking about the street in Hoboken. Ryan Fisher says you can tell Keefe knows Jack is done for the year. It certainly seemed like that on his face. Jack McCabe, team needs a complete forward overhaul. I'm talking about at least 4, 5, 6 new faces by next year. Palat, Holla, Tatar, Lazar, Bash, and Dowling can't be an NJ to start the year. Big changes needed. Woodson says we now only have 3 forwards who could score. Allison, other teams lose a single key player and can weather the storm, but this team is so bad offensively that this is probably the end of our playoff hopes. I still think we might be able to get into the playoffs, Allison, but we're gonna get handled thoroughly. Thoroughly handled in the playoffs, barring some. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to catch up to more. Woodson, that first rounder for Markey is turning into a top 15 pick after we thought it'd be a late first rounder. I mean, maybe not. We still might make the playoffs. What is it? It's a conditional. Was it top 10 protected, I think? The pick. But yeah, I mean, Jack McCabe break up the core. Brandon, what's your opinion on having horrible struggling offense and there's 0 attempt to try Timo on the right wing? Like, why can't we try it? Brandon, I talked about this going back last year. I've given up talking about it. For whatever reason, well, who knows now, right? Maybe we see it now when it's like truly desperation time with Jack out of the lineup. I mean, I'm trying to even wrap my head around what are they going to try. I mean, at this point, it seems like Dawson Mercer's definitely going to have to get moved back to center for sure. And a team that was so thin at center to begin with, everyone was talking about how we need centers. You know, with Jack out now, you need centers more than ever. We may even see. Well, I guess you won't see Cotter probably tried at center still, but I think Mercer's going to have to play center for now. Terrible. Rob, Fitz sits on his hands and waits way too long to do anything. M Sharp, plain and simple, team has to step up if a player goes down. Alex, that December team, dude, just how did it happen? I don't know, man. Salvatore, Jack needs to beef up. It takes men to win. Danico, Madden, White, Stevenson. With Flash sprinkled around, we can't be Flash with a side of muscle. I couldn't agree more, but here we are, man. Beachmaster, you got to give them a few games to adjust. I've seen this movie before. My buddy Goody says the core isn't the issue. I think anyone questioning it is certainly within their right. It's a valid question at this point. At this point, you have a right to question everything from ownership to management to, top 6 players to bottom 6 players. There's nothing, in my opinion, that is not worth questioning. Everything should be questioned at this point. I'm starting to question my own mental sanity with all the hours I spend on a channel dedicated to this disaster. I don't know if this is the real SST or not. Ace is going to ban me again. He promised me, so I won't stay here long. Stanley, the team wasn't making the playoffs anyway. Outside of 2 weeks in December, they've sucked from the preseason. Markstrom made this team look a lot better than it really was during the first half. Chico, Markey looked good. Allen looked good. We still have Bratt, Nico, Timo, Dougie, Luke. If Fitz can pick up 2 middle 6 forwards, we can still make a playoff team out of this. Oh, Chico. I'm afraid this might be the perfect excuse for him to tell the owners, well, Jack went down. We're going to be smart about this. We're going to manage these assets, and we're going to wait for better days. I'm deathly afraid of that's what's going to happen. But in the end, outside of acquiring a big-name guy, which I don't see happening anyway, it's a wrap. I mean, even if we get in the playoffs, we're going to be the sacrificial lamb of the 24-25 playoffs, just like Washington was last season, in my opinion. Stanley Fitzgerald needs to go now. He can't be allowed to manage this trade deadline. Oh, that's never happening, Stanley. He's definitely managing the trade deadline. Woodson, 2 middle 6 forwards without a first rounder. Pulp Mystic every year is wasted. Salvatore, you're telling me the Oilers aren't tripping over themselves to get Palat? No, they're not. Chico, they don't have to be great, just upgrades over what we've got. Jack McCabe says he's done with the core and the GM. Cash, don't forget to booze tonight. Win or lose, we booze. Don't forget. I'll never forget. Medication time. For Devil, Chico, the players are all there to be successful. Teams stop believing in themselves, and that's that. Gem Card, I still believe in this team as long as Fitzy trades for someone and moves Jack to LTIR. Besser or Tuck would be elite. I just can't see it, guys. SST says Jack's injury is another excuse for Fitzgerald to keep his job, sadly. Nicole, the way Jack laid on the ice right after made me think he blacked out at first, but then he held his shoulder, and I was like, no. I think he may have lost consciousness. At first, it looks like he was dead. Terrible. Gem Card still says the Devils are not missing the playoffs. JD says selling. Who's lining up to take the likes of Haller, Tatar, and Bastion? I kind of touched on it a few minutes ago. I mean, we have players that there's no demand for. Cape Dollar, Jack couldn't hit the weight room last offseason. It looks like he won't this season either. Not that he would, even if healthy. I think that's a little unfair to say he wouldn't, but when he has the injury, you can't. Another problem. Jason, no, I'm just pissed. I can't. I can think back to free agency, waiting for hockey to start. Another year of trash. No, I'm gonna puke, guys. I'm gonna be violently ill. It's 7 months, 7 long months until the opening of the regular season next year. 7 months. Louis, I don't think Jack has had 2 legit line mates his entire career in NJ. He's always had at least one guy to carry every damn season. That's a fair point too. But in the end, even if you had another elite line mate to play with him and Jesperbratt, it doesn't change the fact that he just looked like he broke something and might be done for the year. Wow, guys. Unhinged Devs fan, LOL, I missed the SST ban. I haven't been here lately. Woodson said a few non-doomy, borderline positive things. Dudes, this season is... they aren't getting it done now. Woodson, don't know which shoulder. We are lucky we get any updates beyond upper and lower body injuries. Yeah, that's all you get. Upper body injury, lower body injury, week to week, day to day, close, not close, reevaluated, up for evaluation, reevaluated. John Fay, but at least he's showing emotion, something we haven't seen behind the bench since Lindy Ruff took over. Yeah, but in the end, what is it all for? Ryan Fisher, what does it matter if he lifts weights if he gets tripped from behind while skating and slides on ice into the boards? Gem Card, trade Nemitz or Casey or a high draft pick. That's how you get Tuck or Besser. But we don't even have a first rounder this year, so you're talking about what, next year's first rounder? Jack, Fitz was seen drinking champagne and gambling in the GM suite tonight. He and Keith shared some laughs before the latter jetted off to Toronto. Chico, I'm recovering. Jack Hughes out is a huge blow, but it's not over yet. In September of 1939, as the Nazis closed around Warsaw, one transmission echoed across Eastern Europe. Poland is not yet lost. Okay, there's your historical reference for the evening. BC, Rangers will be taking our playoff spot. Columbus will move past us soon. Jack says, season over. Forget the GM and the shitty play and lack of scoring. Jack Hughes is not a 1C on a cup champion. No way. Look at the 1Cs on past cup champs. How many were that small and got hurt? Always. Unhinged Devsan, what about Nemitz being in the past 2 games? No Casey. Casey was good in his game. Jay Snow, the Devils can't sustain ozone time, cycle pucks, or win battles. It's sickening to watch. Nicole, thank God for this channel so we could all panic together. Stanley, stop defending Jack. He can't stay on his feet because he's a boy playing in a man's league. How many times do you need to see him injured the same way over and over again? Gem Card still says the Devils season's not over. John Woodson, we are lost, Chico. Been lost since teams realize we can't score dump and chase style. Louis, people think replacing Jack is as easy as throwing him on LTIR and heading into the supermarket. And I agree with that, too. People are like, oh, yeah, just put him on LTIR and go get another superstar. Like, what pieces do we have to go get another big-name guy? I have no idea. I just don't think it's realistic. And the far more likely scenario is that, Fitz says, we were dealt another unfortunate hand. Try again next year. And so on and so forth. And we'll be talking about the same old story for eternity. I'm just sickened. Dire Straits. Jack needs 2 Zuber-sized wingers. He needs protection. Listen, I do. First of all, I do like him with Jesperbratt, and I love the idea of him playing with a beefy guy on one of the wings. With that being said, that's not preventing the play like we saw tonight. I mean, just the play where you get tangled up with a guy, go crashing into the boards, like even if he was playing with the 2 biggest wingers of all time, it wouldn't have made a difference. Collect records. Fitz has to get to work, talent or not. He can't have this team's fate depend on one kid who is built like a 13-year-old girl. Cisco Kid, tired of seeing Jack flopping on the ice, losing the puck. He needs to bulk up for next season. Jay Snow says, I don't care. Move Bratt. We'll get a good return. Jeter Toker, Hughes Bros to sell t-shirts. Chico, I said in the pregame that I thought nicohischier was good enough to build a contender around. I believe that still. Now we're going to see it. Jeter Toker says, F my mental health. Mine as well, Jeter Toker. Mine as well. Samuel says, Nico will be gone as soon as his contract is up unless they turn into winners. And that's my fear as well. I think I mentioned this in the pregame show today. Why would he want to stay here? He's made the playoffs twice. His rookie season, Taylor Hall dragged us there. We got dusted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games in the first round. And then we got what may have been a fluke win over the Rangers in 7 games before getting smashed by Carolina. And now we're going to be looking down the barrel of potentially missing the playoffs in back-to-back years with no real kind of relief in sight. I could certainly see Nico beginning to question what the future looks like in New Jersey and whether he wants to be part of it or not. Woodson, Brad has a full no trade clause. The only top 6 forwards you don't have one are Jack and Mercer. BC, I remember watching a game when Stevens upended Domi and he flew up in the air, landed on his back, and got up as if nothing happened. That type of hit would end Jack's career. SST, worst loss of the season? I don't know. Maybe. Stanley, we have a major ownership problem. It's nothing short of self-sabotage that Fitzgerald is still employed. We are approaching Mike Milbury Islanders level incompetence here. I don't know about all that. I mean, we still have 5 days before the trade deadline, guys. Help is on the way. Man. What's it, Toya? Gonna go shower with my toaster now. I might join you. Gem Card SST is unbanned. No, apparently he just made a new name. John Rogers, if 4 Nations is Olympic team, I agree. Jack doesn't make the team. Come on, guys. He's going to make the team. Rob, time to pop in some Heaven VHS tapes. Reference to the 1995 VHS special after the Devils won the Cup. Evan says, looking at the hit again, he's out for the year. Hope I'm wrong, but this sucks. Retlaw says, if I'm Nico, I would not sign. Jay Snow says, SST can't help himself. Got banned and is still back. John Fay, at SST, look at the bright side. You learned your lesson and now know that there's a line you don't cross. Damn, Woodson's getting rid of everybody. He says Nico can go. He's soft too. Man. What a terrible night, guys. What started off so promising. Yo, Holmes says, game over, man. Game over. Jack, if a team comes calling on Jack, I'm seriously consider moving him. Too soft, plain and simple. If you can get a package of equal value, do it. Add the brother if you have to. They're never trading the Hughes brothers, guys. I've talked about this a million times. They're all in. Dire Straits, would this be the biggest choke in franchise history? It's right up there. To me, this would be the biggest loss season since the 95-96 season, which saw the Devils fail to make the playoffs after winning the Cup the year before. Chico, Bill Simmons talks about the Patrick Ewing effect, which is a phenomenon where a team plays better for a stretch without their best player, might see the other talent step up for a bit. Oh boy, now we're looking for, we're really reaching here, Chico. Jeter says Brady is more violent than this whole roster combined. Woodson says, notice how Markey had about 3 posts bail him out. VTech never needed the posts. Luke says, booze face moron. Oh, and he's the president and GM, so he ain't going nowhere. Samuel says, with or without Jack, it's a first-round fade. Man, this is everyone's just, it's a dark night here, guys. This is a completely dark night, and everybody's just going through it. Mara Lee, I'm making a trip to Jersey this weekend for my birthday, so this is just great. Luke, Jack is 100% done, shoulder number 3. Nicole, Jack is an asset, but I think we still have a team. It definitely is a blow, but our team is more than just Jack. Yeah, but our best chance is clearly with Jack. Jay Snow, we blow anyway. It just sucks to be officially over tonight. I still think they could get in the playoffs. I just think it's going to be an ugly ouster. Cud, Bratt and Timo have got to pick up the goal scoring. Everybody's going to have to pick up the goal scoring, but I honestly can't even, I'm just processing all of this in real time, and it's just painful. Yo, Holmes says, let's remember Fitz built this. Woodson, we were already going to get thoroughly handled in the playoffs. Maybe, but at least I had a little hope. At least there was a little hope. That hope really faded. What's it, Toya? Is our biggest accomplishment of this decade really going to be 101 points? It was actually 112 points and a 7-game series win over the New York Rangers in the first round. But outside of that, what else happened in the last decade? A lot of pain and misery. A lot of pain and misery. Stanley sucks now, but if the right thing is done and this management team is put out on its ass, then the season going up in flames is the best thing that could happen. Time for a new vision and some changes. I don't think it's going to happen. David chimes a bit much on the gloom. We don't know if Jack misses playoffs. Don't even know for sure if he's missing much time, even if it looked bad. Let's be real, guys. David, do you really think he's not toast right now? Thanks, Ryan Fisher. There's a thumbs up icon. It's the panic button. Everybody hit it. I appreciate that. If you guys could hit the like for your boy, but wow. I'm so curious. I mean, I'm assuming either tomorrow or the next day, they're going to come out and say what exactly? They're going to say upper body and, week to week maybe. Wilson says, SST, I boycotted the pregame live because I didn't have my buddy. Louis, I have very little faith in anyone outside of Nico to step up. John Woodson, Ace made me the new president of the Doomers, so you could be my vice president, though. Luke, when Nico is gone in 2 years, who gets the C? I guess that depends on who's here. I can't even think about that at this point, Luke. If Nico leaves, I don't know. I can't even really, I don't even care at this point. Yo Holmes says, question everything. M Sharp, hang in there, Ace. Erickson, when is the GM going to make a trade? Maybe never now. Richard Tompkins, someday they'll do a university case study on the mental state that the Devils have placed Ace in. Maybe. Jack, McCabe, move Jack to the wing and get a second-line center, a legit center, someone with size and sack. Enough with 86 at center. Doesn't have a size or skill set for that role. Luke says, Ace, 100% booze face is going to use Jack being done as an excuse. It definitely could. Wow. Woodson, I haven't been dooming as hard because it's pointless getting people to believe we're cooked. John Fay says to SST, so if I was to ask you what your take from this game was, what would you respond with if you were behaving now? Jack McCabe, the good news is that this is the last of Plot. There's no scenario in which he's on the team next year, either bought out or traded to some team that's stupid enough to trade for him. Husky Unchained, this hurts my soul. I'm going to watch Second Heaven and regain my sanity, damn it. For those of you that are unaware, Second Heaven is obviously the 2000 version, the 2000 Stanley Cup Championship version of the Devils kind of cup win that, you know, goes through the series, and it's like the highlight film, if you will. The follow-up, the second in the franchise, the follow-up to the original Heaven, the 1995 version. Evan, we look terrible against the more physical teams in the league. Need to improve and get better at the deadline and offseason. QQ, be real. The reason we're also convinced this is the end isn't because the injury was so cataclysmic. It's because Jack could break a nail and baby himself for 6 months after. Just, you know, given his history, it just, you know, it's not one of those things that you're going to feel good about. Spirit in the Sky says we're at least 5 years from doing anything. Oh, my God. Woodson says 2030. Crossy, so much hype built into every year for it all to go to garbage near every trade deadline. BC, Harris and Blitzer are probably popping champagne right now because of the money they don't have to spend this week on new players. Luke says, Ace, you have the draft party to get pumped about. Oh, I'm definitely not getting pumped about the draft party. Jack McCabe, one of the Twitter doctors, just said he thinks it's a dislocated shoulder. Oh, boy. Ritter Engine says, I'm absolutely livid. Stanley, Ace, I give you credit that you have maintained positivity this season. For longtime fans, the way this organization is managed is nothing short of malpractice. Unrecognizable from Lou's era. Oh, you couldn't be more right. It feels like the Uncle Lou days were multiple lifetimes ago. And when I saw Lou at an event and got to talk to him for a little bit, about a little more than a month ago, it was very awesome to see Lou. And what an era. We were all so spoiled. But it feels like that was lifetimes ago where we had a yearly competitive team. The playoffs were a guarantee. It was just a matter of how far we were going to go. And we're just so far from that now, and it is unfortunate. Completely unfortunate, and those Devils teams would not have been sunk with a single injury. I mean, shit, think about how bad we looked even when Nico was out. When Nico was out for that little stretch, we looked terrible. We just are so thin at forward, we cannot overcome a single injury to a top guy. If any one of them is out, we're screwed. It's the unfortunate reality of the situation. John Woodson, Fitz screwed himself with Plot and Pesci. That's the $11 million we need for the forward group. 1 top 6 and third line center. Gregory Shaw, Jack is out. No need to make any moves unless you put Jack on LTIR and make a trade for a stud. Jack is out for the year. Size does nothing for shoulder issues. Once it pops out, it will keep popping. Nick says the negativity in here is terrible. Oh, yeah. I mean, what'd you expect, my man? It was a gutting loss combined with, you know, Jack Hughes potentially going out for the season. Did you think this to, you know, expect it to be sunshine and unicorns in here? Luke says Fitz let 2 seasons get away. He needs to go now, and he isn't going anywhere. David Chime says Vegas would figure out a way to put Jack on LTIR and pick up a superstar. Just saying. Ritter says, I'm done talking about Fitz. Oh, boy. Luke says we're going to see Nico raise the cup with another franchise while we're on rebuild 4 to 5.0. Two Jackets says done with Hall and Nemitz, Hamilton, Kovacevic, Palat, Bastion, Mercer. Get them gone. That's a lot of guys. Damian, at least Markstrom was great despite first game back. Season not over yet. I hope Jack is okay, and I agree with Keefe that it was BS. There was no penalty, and the penalty against Keefe, BS. Oh, yo, Damian, how was the playoff game, dude? How'd you guys do in that playoff game? TCNJ, baby. Jack says, wouldn't be devastated if Nico goes and they can find a suitable replacement. Well, first of all, where are you getting a suitable replacement for Nico? Too much incompetence and inconsistency during his captaincy. I think his captaincy has been kind of marred by just so much nonsense that has nothing to do with him. Louis, not to mention also Nico has had 2 GMs and 5 head coaches if you count the interim guys. I wouldn't blame Nico for walking at this point, completely mismanaged. Luke, ownership sucks. Fit sucks. No culture. 2012 to 24, 2 playoffs, 1 playoff win. Odds that changes. I don't think it's going to change this season. At this point, I mean, it's pretty terrible. Woodson says after tonight, Fitz is going back into hibernation. Ryan says, I hope we miss so big changes happen to this team. Ryan, here's a news flash. If they miss, I don't think that really guarantees anything, to be honest. I don't know that means that's going to change anything. FGHY8, send the Hughes brothers to Vancouver. What's it, Toya? Yo, true that Blackwood trade doesn't look like we played it well. They gave him that's what I'm not going to bash them about. I mean, Blackwood had he had a long time to get his stuff together here, and it's just unfortunate that he fully blossomed elsewhere. He just couldn't get it together here, and he had a lot of time. Luke Teague, I'd trade the Hughes brothers for Brady and their top defender. Chris, what's going on? Get the evaluation first. It's grim, man. No matter what it is, it's grim. Woodson says you may need Nemitz to get Quinn. Well, at this point, I was never one of these people that was dying to get Quinn Hughes, by the way. And I mentioned that in I guess maybe in the pregame today. Like, I want forwards more so than anything. But at this point, I can't even. I'm just so devastated right now. Chico says I can hear an argument for Jack being soft, but this is not an example of it. Woodson says Kovacevic is definitely gone now. I don't know that that's the case either. I still think Fitz might want him for, the future. I don't think just because he's unrestricted, that's going to make him an automatic sell piece, but maybe he is. SJ Bratt is the only reliable player, rarely injured. Yeah, plays a lot of games, consistently produces, and that's why Jesperbratt is one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion, and has been for quite a while. He really doesn't get the props he deserves, even from Devils fans to some extent. But he's just been so good for so long. But I just can't believe this. Luke says, even my wife was like his shoulder again. Can we get Jack one of those metal arms from the Avengers movie? SST sellers markets are probably the best time to sell. FGHY8, can they learn how to run a trap defense? Woodson, it's a shame Siegs didn't get hurt. Well, I guess it's a shame Siegs did get hurt, so we could unload him too. John faces Brad is our only hope at this point, either Bratt or Nico. Ritter Engine says Brad has been MIA lately. Luke, one thing I will say is Carolina's a shit show. So being the 3 seed, you might get it done, but Boo's face is already punting. John Rodgers, I see you pouring from 2 bottles. What are they? So this is the Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. This is Marty's Vodka Company. I've been sipping on this all season, and tonight I'm going to probably drink a lot of it and just put myself in a Dirty Devil vodka-induced coma. and I was mixing it with a little seltzer, the strawberry watermelon. Ritter Engine, how many arm injuries can Jack sustain in his career before he has permanent damage? We might be there now. It's crazy. Woodson, Kova would get a third or maybe a second rounder, or maybe you get one of the 4 bottom 6 pieces you'll need by next year. Chico, the playoffs are tomorrow's problem. They got to get there first, and that's still an achievable goal. Marta, if it's a minor fracture of the arm or something like that, he might be back for the playoffs, but if it's something involving the joints, shoulder, wrist, it's much more complicated. Marta, are you some sort of medical professional of some kind? Jack, Meyer is scoring every dozen games, so I'm sure he'll be the one to step up in Jack's role. Man, this is an all-time low, I think, for everybody. Luke says, went to the Garden tonight on the company seats. The Devils game actually ruined my buzz. Salvatore, spin zone. Jack goes on LTIR, and we add a weapon with that freed up cap space. Jack comes back with a bionic shoulder, and we make a cup run. Well, who are they adding, though? And what are they using to get this magical player? That's the problem. John Fay, the real question is who takes Jack's spot on the first line? I would assume it would be a Palat Nico Bratt line. Oh, man. Brandon, I'm a bit worried this team has sold too much assets and we don't even have valuable pieces. I'm worried we're going back into a 10-year rebuild. It's quite possible. At this juncture, I think all bets are off. Absolutely nothing would surprise me anymore. And it sucks. Tonight was a real swift kick in the chops. I'm gutted, honestly. I'd be lying if I said anything other than I'm straight up gutted. And it's just, you know, even if we make the playoffs now, it's just not going to feel like we're like legitimately capable of going on a run. And a lot of you are going to say, oh, you were crazy to think that before. But, you know, I'd like to think if they got hot at the right time with Markstrom being on top of his game, that they would have a chance to maybe win a couple rounds and make it to the conference finals. But it's just my whole outlook has been downgraded significantly with the fact, assuming that Jack is out for a period of time, which it seems like he is. Roland, Ace, hear me out. Keefe runs a defensive system. Putting Jack on LTIR would hurt the O, but strengthen the D. Grab available two-way forwards before trade deadline and see the team get more wins. Heard it here first. How many guys do you think Fitz could possibly get before Friday? Samuel, thinking of moving back to Florida, becoming a Panthers fan. Salvatore, bring Gritsuk over ASAP. Let the kid eat. He's better than an NHL offensive option. I can't keep up with all the rules. I just changed something. Is he eligible to come over now? Chico, nicohischier is going down with the ship, but I don't think Meyer and the Hughes would if they had the choice. Devs82, since we're in doomsday, ownership does not care about the performance of the team. It's a tax play for people in private equity. As long as players like 86 bring money in, performance is secondary. That's been my fear for quite a while. One of the biggest pieces of evidence I would have to support that kind of notion is the fact that when Dougie went down last year, we did not use his LTIR money to improve the team, and we sat by idly and did nothing. So I don't know. I don't think I don't think you're wrong. That's a real concern of mine. Hopefully they do something to make me believe otherwise, but it certainly seems like that could be the case. Stanley, the franchise is screwed. It's not dooming. Look how the roster is built and all the no move clauses and the jackass GM dished out there. Slow, Soft, brittle, overtaxed, and cannot be traded. Ryan Fisher, maybe this means Timo actually gets on the power play. I hope that's more likely than getting moved back to right wing. But maybe, with now Jack being out, that there's a full, a whole new kind of blender situation for the line combinations, which ultimately ends Timo back, puts him back on the right side. I don't know. Dire Straits, the franchise is cursed. It's certainly starting to feel like that. Woodson, his whole arm was limp. Definitely dislocated shoulder, which would be better than a wrist. Nicole says, I think he was more holding his arm up from hanging, but it's hard to tell. Yeah, I couldn't tell. He was just bracing for whatever, to alleviate the stress on something. But who knows? Either way, it looked horrible. Jay Snow, I'm sick of talking about the glory days. It's been over 20 years. Jay Snow, so am I. That Claude Lemieux picture above my head here, that's about 30 years old, as is the Scott Stevens one. This guy, Jason Arnott's 25 years old, and the great Martin Brodeur, that's 22 years old. This neon is 30 years old. It's insane. It's insane how long it's been. David Chimes, dislocated shoulders can be fixed in as little as 6 weeks. Medical fact, do a Vegas and add big and use the playoff cap loophole. You're confusing the Devils with a crafty team like, the Golden Knights or the Tampa Bay Lightning when they did it. I don't expect the Devils to do the same. I would love to be wrong and see them do it. I just don't see it. Pulp Mystic, if Fitz doesn't try to salvage the season one way or the other after inexcusably punting last season, I'm officially done with Fitz at that point. Completely fair, Pulp Mystic. More than fair. Sir Beerus, 1426. This team's been tough to watch for a while because if Bratt and Hughes are not on the ice, we won't score. Nico can't carry a line on his own, no fault of his. Brandon Thomas, ever since Ilya Kovalchuk left the Devils, this organization still never recovered. Covey, man, what an era. The Kovalchuk era was fun. John Woodson, real men pop the shoulder back in and play the next game. Oh, Woodson. Rolling. Ace, let's be honest, but what does Dawson Mercer even bring to the team? I mean, of all the things to complain about, you guys are still going to bitch about Dawson Mercer. He could be on the power play. He could kill penalties. He does have some hustle and drive. Is he an all-star player? No. Is he the worst player on the team or in the league? No. To me, he's just a average kind of Swiss Army knife, middle tier kind of guy. But in no stretch am I placing any of the blame or the team struggling on him. I mean, Dire Straits, Harris and Blitzer sell the team. That will never happen. John Woodson says Kovalchuk was a tank. Luke, Ace, Lou has his mistakes. They're always all in. Hard to say the team wouldn't have been in a better place if he stayed. I think Lou could beat 2 playoffs in 12 years. Dude, realistically, I think the average fan could possibly beat 2 playoffs in 12 years. Given all the fortune that they've had, I mean, winning multiple draft lotteries, getting 2 first overall. I mean, just think about, first overall, they get the second for Nemitz, number 4 for Luke Hughes. I mean, how much good fortune do you have to still have a franchise that blows? It's truly unbelievable. 2 first overalls in nicohischier and Jack Hughes. A number 2 overall, and you draft Nemitz with it, which I'm still going to say was a bad pick, regardless of what happens with Nemitz. Logan Cooley or Shane Wright probably would have been better picks. And then you have a number 4 pick, and you get Luke Hughes. How many things do you need to go your way and still suck and still be terrible? Chris, love this late night hockey talk on my train ride back home. God bless you, or devil bless you, whichever. Man. Jack McCabe. Again, Jack Hughes is almost malnourished. Looking, he's so thin. Other guys with muscle and sack would have gotten up right away. I mean, come on, Jack. We don't know what's wrong with the kid. I'm not going to blame him for this. Of all the things to be pissed about. Jay Snow, this team blew anyway. Let's not make it seem like this changed everything. I think it kind of did, Jay Snow. John Fay, wait, if we want to put the blame on Fitz, how about we put the blame on the people who hired him and isn't taking the fall for his stupidity and mistakes that he doesn't want to admit? Devs82. Stanley 62495. Normie fans don't know or care to research who actually owns our franchise. They've tried the same playbook in 3 sports. 76ers flopped, but worked for Commanders. Stack, picks, and pray. I'm pretty sure that's not a secret. I think everyone knows that, Devs82. I do think it's much harder to do that in hockey than other sports. I think the sport that it's most likely to work in is in basketball, because I do think two guys in basketball can change a whole franchise. I don't think two guys in hockey are doing it, or at least right away. And if it's two guys, it has to be like, guys like it worked for the Penguins to some extent, Geno Malkin and Sidney Crosby, but those are generational talents. And they got lucky to get both of them. Sir Beerus 1426. The problem here is not 1 year toasted. It's if Fitz panics and sells low for a rental, we just can't toss away Nemitz or something stupid this week. I think he's way more likely to do nothing than to do that, if I'm being honest. Alex, Lou brought the Isles to the Eastern Finals a few years back. Man, that team wasn't even that good. Says a lot. M. Sharp Plot has to go. He was supposed to be a veteran presence, and we knew he was best in playoffs. Neither happened, and he has aged out. Mainly, we need the money. Hector, time to play some 4D chess and trade Kobe for a first or a couple of assets. I don't know if we're going to get a first for him anymore, and that'd be great. I really would like to keep him, but at this point, I am not going to be shocked by anything that does or does not happen. Alex says we should be negative. F the future is bright talk. Yeah, I'm done with the future is bright. I'm tired of the same shit every single year. Every single year talking about the future. No, man, the future. How many years? This is the 8th season for nicohischier and jesperbratt. Let that sink in, people. Sit there and just think about the 8th season for both jesperbratt and nicohischier. You can make the argument that they're already in the second half of their career or about to be. And just like that, constantly talking about how bright the future is for their entire careers. And here we are. Damien, we ended up losing first game to Navy 5-2. We did well until the third period. At least I got an assist. Very nice, man. Chico says to say I hope we miss his loser, complete loser shit. And the spot the Devils are in right now, you better go down swinging. I'm with you. I'm not trying to pack it up whatsoever. Make a push. Robert, with Jack out, let's get with Jack out, get Donato, see what happens. Realistically, a guy like Donato would have been a great ad before Jack went down. It's like all the needs that everyone thought we needed are now just that much more emphasized now with Jack out. And I don't see how Dawson Mercer doesn't have to move to center. I mean, we were super thin at center as it is. And now our centers are going to be most likely what? Dowling, Halla, Nico, and Mercer. Louis says, I wonder why Blackwood never got it together here. Maybe Rogalski needs to go. I can't put it on Rogalski. I know a lot of people like to hate on him, but BC, Nason probably wishing he stayed in Carolina. Cisco Kid says Jack will be back for the playoffs. Woodson, Dougie gets pinned in the D zone. You think he can make a few tape-to-tape passes to get out of the zone, but he only uses them when he wants to score. Stanley, imagine having won the draft lottery 3 times in 9 seasons, and this is what you have to show for it. And that's not including all the other high picks. There's simply no excuse for this product. Completely agree. I just referenced it a couple minutes ago. All the overwhelmingly high picks, and to still be where we are today is just, it's not even one failure. It's a series of failures. It's terrible. Jack, imagine if we got JT Miller. I would have liked him. Hector says jettison Halla to Siberia. Devs 82. None of the team's problems will be solved before the deadline. Everyone should save their energy hoping and praying for a splash. Jay Snow says, what is booze face? That's what Luke calls Fitz. David chimes, Timo on a heater would almost make up for no Jack. SST says, can't say I missed Ace, but definitely missed this chat. Robert, get to Nato and see what happens. I still think we can make the playoffs. Yeah, I still think they can make the playoffs too. But if I'm being honest, it just my optimism of kind of hoping to go on a run, just get in the playoffs and hope for the best. That kind of sentiment takes a massive hit for me if we're without Jack. I mean, I just, Alex Russo, at least with y'all, I know we got some cool ass Devils fans. There's something positive. Luke says I'm almost drunk enough for a call-in. Marta, I'm a nurse, but don't deal with that sort of injuries in my work. Oh, I get it, but that makes you more knowledgeable than the average person, I would say. Devils 25, old school, but the worst moment in Devils history was not making the playoffs after the 95 win. I agree. I think that is worse than anything else you discussed, like maybe missing the playoffs this year. No, that's why I said it's the second darkest season, in my opinion. Missing in 95, 96 has to be number one. This is right there as number two. Just given the way everything played out last year, and it's all just kind of compounding nonsense. Allison says, Halla being our second-line center now means dark days are ahead. Brandon, first line should be Bratt, Nico, Meyer. That would be interesting. I think there's literally no scoring anywhere else. It's just like, we're going to stack everybody on the first line, and if we don't score, that's it. We're just stacking it. We're just stacking it on the first line. If you shut that line down, you win the game. But if you don't shut them down, we got a chance. That would be pretty funny. Man, oh man. This is embarrassing. Stanley says, Timo on a heater. He's the modern-day Jay Pandolfo, apparently. And I genuinely want the guy to do well, but, man, his production has been so underwhelming. John Safe Face says, well, I'm going to say this now. As the NJ lottery says, anything can happen in Jersey. Jack, if you put Timo, Nico, and Bratt together, you may as well replace the bottom nine with AHLers because that would suck. $376ers. I think ownership definitely has something to do with it. I know from experience, let's just say. Tell us more, 376ers. What the hell is 376ers anyway? I'm very curious. What is 376ers? Now I'm super intrigued. Tell us more, 376ers, please. Tell us more. What are you referring to? Oh, now I got to scope through this stuff. David chimes, the ownership point is sounding valid. Lots of the pylon stuff too much. No, the ownership stuff has always been a concern of mine. And again, not spending LTIR money. Most teams, when they have LTIR money like we had with Dougie last year, they'd be looking to make it rain and go get somebody to spend that money on. And we did nothing. We did nothing. Insane Pollock says, time for Timo to get put back on the right wing. 376ers, Korea curse. Alex, he said the neon is 30 years old. It is. Jay Snow, the right wing thing with Timo is blown out of proportion. Is it blown out of proportion? How so? How so? After Lindy got canned, he led the league in goals in March from the right wing. Roman Checkmonic, Timo analytically isn't even better at right wing, even though people get anal about it. I do want to see him clap shot on right wing on the power play, though. Again, he led the league in goals in March last year after Green moved him to the right wing and put him on power play 1. So I don't know, how it's not a difference. Not to mention his entire career in San Jose. Timo statistically is the same on the left wing as he is on the right wing. Please show me those stats. I can't see how that's true. Because in the end, didn't he play almost his whole career on the right wing? So there's an overwhelming body of work for right wing. What are his stats on the left wing? They can't be great. .376er says Keefe yacht moment. I'm so curious. John Fay, all right, I'm going to head out. Tough loss. See you on the next one. Let's go Devils. Good night, John. .376ers. Sixers and Devils are the same team. Trust the process. Damon says, I will say this, Meyer and Tatar are essential to this team. I will die on that hill. I agree about Timo. Tatar, do I think he's the worst player ever? No. But do I think we would really miss him if we upgraded most of the bottom 6 with better guys? No. But I do think Timo is crucial to the team. David Chimes, Harris Blitzer did spend money on extra coaching and analytics. That's a sign they care. Spend money on non-cap stuff. They ain't Buffalo's penny-wise, pound-foolish owners who don't ever spend to cap. Pulp Mystic, the assumption was we didn't pick Ryder Cooley because we already had those kind of centers that needed D. Now Nemitz can barely draw in because we have a logjam on D, and we'd kill to have center depth. Husky Unchained, maybe we finally get to see Cotter at center. That's another option. But I think they'll make Mercer play center first. Devs82, how do you feel about cutting Mercer loose, trading him while value is there? Eye test hasn't shown he has much of a ceiling beyond where he is now. Not a playoff type player, in my opinion. I've talked about Mercer a lot. I do like him. If a deal presents itself that makes sense to trade him, I'm not going to be devastated if he's dealt. But wow. AEP Snow. The reaction in this chat are honestly stupid. We're not another 10 years away. We were 2 or 3 pieces away with Jack healthy. That obviously changes now, but it doesn't mean we're done forever. I mean, people are extremists, AEP. I mean, it's just the internet, Sports fans and the internet. Jack, Ace, you're going in. Are you a skill guy or a physical grinder? I'm going to go with physical grinder. Sir Beerus 1426. The team needs 3 middle 6 forwards to be a contender right now. If Timo can't score for 20 games a third year in a row, send him to the AHL till he demands a trade. Oh, boy. 376ers. 76ers, but with a 3 in front of it because AI ownership has single-handedly... Wait, by AI, are you talking about like AI, like artificial intelligence, or Allen Iverson? Ownership has single-handedly brought the Sixers down to where they are now by letting GMs hang on and make the worst moves you could make. Trust the process. Dire Wolf, Ace, are you familiar with the Wes McCauley, Sheldon Keefe drama? It's amazing the NHL lets him ref our games. No wonder he got ejected so fast. No, fill me in. I'm not aware of that. Oh, the 3 is for AI. I got it. I'm a little slow tonight. Sorry. Chico, Timo is the same on the right wing. There was a thread about it on Reddit. The stats aren't that different, but he is numerically better on the right wing. Chico, Timo has a 60% expected goals for as a right wing and a 56%. I don't care about goals for. What are the actual goals he scored on the left versus the right? I don't care about the expected and all that shit. Luke, the booze face defenders have come up with some analytical bullshit to say Meyer is the same in each wing. Typical Kool-Aid Brigade stuff. 376ers. I think ownership just likes to profit off of players like Jack and the GMs. They get to make many bad moves or no moves at all. AP Snow, kind of stuck in limbo right now. Got to offload the bad pieces this offseason and make some big moves, but this season is in the can. SJ, even Mercer is better at faceoffs than Jack, some more offensive starts. Chico says 76ers let Jimmy Butler walk. Dire Wolf, Macaulay's brother-in-law abused underage players and Keefe testified against him apparently. Wes has been really biased towards Keefe ever since. Wow, how is that even allowed is right. That's crazy. Brandon, just like the statistics say you don't need physicality. Oh, yeah. Those are some really useful stats to me. Please. Watch the playoffs and tell me physicality doesn't matter. Damien, I'm going to head out. See you guys hopefully Tuesday. Good night. Let's go Devils. Good night, Damien. Jack, put Jack on the right wing like Patrick Kane with a defensive guy like Heishier at center. Chico, the NHL isn't a real league. He was also involved in the David Frost, Mike Danton murder for hire stuff. What a crazy story that is. 376ers, I will not recover from the Butler situation. AP Snow, you think Jack will still be at the signing event for Black and Red members on 19th if he's hurt? Kind of worried I'm not getting that auto. I'm going to have to say probably not. I'm going to say he won't be there, unfortunately for you. Samuel, management will smarten up when the fans stop putting their ass in the rock. Well, I do think they were already dealing with a record amount of season ticket drop-offs, I do believe, for a variety of reasons. And I do think now, given the kind of turmoil we're experiencing here, I think there is a very good chance that you're going to see season ticket drop-offs continue. But for whatever reason, somehow, some way, they have found a core group of red and black members that, despite all of the known reasons by the public to not be a member, they will continue to be one, which I do find interesting. It's amazing that they even have the loyalty that they do have, because I'm not going to go into all this right now, but, you know, let's just say it's not the greatest value there is. Jack says he may be missing an arm, but he'll be there. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Van Whalen says if Devils don't make the playoffs, then it's time to fire Keefe. Yeah, I don't know about that. Chico says time to fire Keefe. Are you stupid? AP Snow, he better be there. That was half the selling point. Chico, Keefe is the reason this team is in a playoff spot. Sir Beerus, if fans don't show up, the team might fall off to a nothing franchise. It's already a small team. They're always going to get at least a certain level of people in terms of fans. But Chico, look at the roster, man. There are too many passengers on this team. SJ, on a positive note, was pleasantly surprised to see Markey. Thought he would be out longer. Jack, Fitz is sharding right now. He can't make trades. Van Whalen, Keefe isn't getting over that one plateau the Devils can't seem to pass. Red Ridge says Keefe is not the reason. I fully agree as well. This is a player and Fitzgerald thing. Fitzy has a roster with a lot of holes in it. You can't expect Keefe to work magic tricks. No coach in the league is going to be able to, hide all the deficiencies that this team currently has. Chico, Keefe has this team still second best in goals against. Selected Voices, Fitz should be fired before Keefe. I definitely agree with that. Yo, Holmes, don't stop believing. Ace. Luke, Ace is not surprising. Look at Rags or any other loyal fan base. God, Stanley, I am dreading this trade deadline. There's nothing more dangerous to the health of a franchise than a GM desperate to save his job. Or maybe that's just exactly what we need. It could go both ways, in my opinion. Peace. No, I'm glad we draw the line at fire Keefe. That's a little too far in the negativity train. Oh, for me too. That's wild. Brandon, as much as I hate Fitz and name him Sleepy Fitz, Can Fitz even make a trade? Our assets are so worthless. The best we can get is draft picks. Who wants our garbage? Which, again, we base our best trade pieces are second rounders and Nemitz and Casey and maybe Mercer. Devs82, understand your disposition to always try no matter what to get in the playoffs, try to win. Has the team shown you any promise since Christmas? No consistency. No. Just single games of it. But in the end, consistently inconsistent is what this team has been in the calendar year 2025. Evan, Keefe is not the reason for our struggles. He does play a part in it. 376ers. Depending on the trade deadline, I think will determine the future for Fitz. Joe Mama. This isn't on Keefe or even Fitzy. The bum players just need to show up more than one game a week. M. Sharp. The team seemed to focus on D this year like Keefe did at last job. SST. 10% tickets. Price spike next season. And fans will still be there. They like suffering. SJ, at the end of the day, if your best players are injury prone, it's hard to even make the playoffs, so we're probably screwed. I do believe we can make the playoffs. My biggest thing is, what could I realistically believe or try to convince myself to believe that they could do in the playoffs without Jack? I mean, listen, anything can happen, but he's clearly our most productive offensive player. And, obviously him going down is catastrophic. Cerberus 1426, 100% right on too many passengers on this team. We have 3 competent forwards. Samuel says, well, they can't threaten moving the team to Nashville again. That happened in 95 after they won the cup. And the owner was trying to get a deal with the I guess it's the New Jersey Sports Exposition Authority. And I think they're trying to play hardball with him. So he had threatened to move to Nashville. And you could actually see photos and video of people in the crowd at the parade in 95. And I think some of the players, including Chris Terreri, held the sign up as well. It was like, Nashville, no way. But that was the big rumor after the Devils won the cup in 95. Chico, what is Keefe supposed to do with Halla, Dowling, Tatar, and Palat on the team? No coach is getting more out of this team, all those worthless put on Devils jerseys. No, I'm with you, Chico, 100%. I mean, the guy's been given a roster with a ton of AHL players on it, and it's like, here, go make a miracle happen. Yo, Holmes says, if Fitz blows this, we riot. Cerberus, going to bring it up again. Trade a 4th for Arvidsson. The Oilers have to move him for cap room. Change in scenery will be good for him. Select the boy. Fitz had many chances to put this team together and no improvement to show for it. Michaela, it's not Keefe's fault that the team isn't scoring. Officially, man 992. It's annoying that Fitzgerald is doing nothing and he's just waiting until the deadline. Well, I mean, there's only 2 games or 1 game really before the deadline. The Winnipeg game is on deadline day. Not going to make that much of a difference now. Brandon, if we trade any defense prospects, I think that's 1 step forward and 1 step backwards. It helps us now, but once people leave our team, our defense is going to be so shit. We have tons of defenders in the pipeline, though. David Chime says, you're number 2 in goals against per game. Don't care if no Jack. You are not an automatic out in the playoffs. We ain't last year's Caps. At least 40% chance of still winning a round. I could see that. That's part of the reason why I told everyone I wanted Markstrom. But the reality is, you saw in games like tonight where we can't score. You can't score with Jack in the lineup. How bad is it going to be to how hard is it going to be to score without him? How many times did we get shut out now? Is that the 7th shutout? I think tonight might have been our 7th shutout. Select the boy. Where's Nolan Foote? Where's Shimon Nemec? They've been dead weight for the past few years. Oh, Foote is in the AHL. I think he played a couple games this year. We rotated a couple Utica guys throughout, and no one ever stuck. I liked Legary. I thought Nathan Legary showed some promise in the couple games. Yeah, Foote played 2 games this year for the Devils. Chico, Keefe developed Austin Matthews into the best goal scorer in the NHL. Marner and Nylander took huge steps offensively. His system is good on both ends of the ice. The Devils are not. Well, I mean, Austin Matthews is also a freak of nature. I mean, let's be real. He's a great player. Chico, Nemec had a decent game again. Yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of people were texting me like, oh, are they showcasing Nemec to trade him? I don't think that's the case. I really don't think Fitz at this juncture wants to trade Nemec or Casey. Now, could he possibly be kind of pushed into it if the right deal comes along? Yes. But I do think this Jack Hughes injury tonight could potentially change his plans in many different ways. And now we're going to see, but I think it's just the latest layer of nonsense put on this season, and it's unfortunate. Select the boy. Paul Cotter's been more successful on offense than Alex Holtz. Not saying a whole lot, but for sure that's true. 376ers, if we ride at the rock, Fitz is going to look out the window. We'll all look like South Park characters yelling. Devs82, not sure I agree on all the Fitz hate. He turned an abysmal roster into a competitive product. It's not his fault certain players don't pan out. Oh, Devs82. Let's be real, my man. You don't understand why all the Fitz hate? I mean, we're now looking down the barrel of 2 disaster seasons in a row after having the franchise record. And in the end, the fans are frustrated, man. We've been in a decade-long rebuild, essentially. And where is the relief? You know, the core is getting older. This is the 8th season of Jesperbratt and nicohischier. They've been in the playoffs twice. 2017-18, Taylor Hall dragged them there. We got dusted. And then we beat the Rangers in a game 7 series, a 7-game series, which is looking more and more like a fluke now with this season going to hell, as well as last season where we did nothing to try to get into the playoffs. So what exactly did he do? We won all these draft lotteries. We got 2 first overalls. We got a number 2 overall. We drafted Nemec with it. They whiffed horribly with the Alex Holtz pick. I mean, what other teams have had the fortune the Devils have had in terms of winning draft lotteries with not much to show for it afterwards? I mean, we've won 5 playoff games total. M. Sharp, I spend more on tolls, gas, and parking than tickets, food too, because I'm starved by the time I get to the rink. M, hypothetical, if Fitz gets fired after the season, who would you want as the next GM? For me personally, there's only one answer, and it's this guy right here. The great Martin Brodeur. Now, I don't know if he even wants the job. It is a way more time-consuming and involved job than the job he currently has, and I don't even know if he'd want it. But if he was interested in the job, don't even interview anybody else. You hand the keys to the great Martin Brodeur, and you hope for the best. You hope for the best. That's it. I will trust the franchise in the hands of Marty before anybody else. I do believe he will do what he believes is right, and I don't think he's going to, do some of the things we've seen in the past. Select the boy. Keefe is not to blame for the team playing soft. Jack, Ace, you're going to be live on deadline day. I'm pretty sure I will at least have one live. Chico, the fact that this team has clung to a metro spot and hasn't fallen to a wild card spot is the miracle Keefe has been working. He needs help. Fitz has to act ASAP. Completely agree there. SJ, we need Haminaho and Gritsuk so bad. We need anybody that's a competent forward badly. The bottom 6 is producing nothing. The insane Pollock, isn't Marty being prepped for the GM job? Well, he's technically an assistant GM, I believe, and maybe some other title, but I don't know if he actually wants to be the GM or not. I don't think that's very clear. But in the world where Fitz is no longer around, if Marty is interested in the job, you give him the job and hope for the best. Yo, Holmes, I was there, bro. We were all chanting Nashville sucks every round of the 95 playoffs. I was there and they set fire to the tunnel between Continental and Giants Stadium. That crickety-ass wooden plank. What a time to be alive walking on that thing. I remember looking through the cracks and being petrified, walking from the one side to the other. Chico, I don't even just mean trades. It takes two to tango. Take a flyer on some NCAA free agents, some fast guys buried in the lineups or the AHL. Call up Footer, Hallinan, Drew, literally anything. I agree as well. I wanted to see more Hallinan auditions, but that wasn't meant to be either, or at least in their eyes it wasn't. Select the boy who made the playoffs in 22-23, made the second round by beating the Rags, but after that, then what? After that, then what? The Hurricanes killed us. We punted on a season last year and flushed a season of the core down the toilet, and now it's looking like we may very well be in that same position. Jay Snow, how would Markey steal around when we never score? Well, obviously, we would have to score at least one goal in some games for Markey to pitch a shutout, but you know what I meant. Stanley 62495, it all falls on the front office, their roster, their results. Time to move on was last summer, and here we are again. Well, he had the injuries excuse and all that stuff, so that's what got him the extra year. But in the end, these people just care about the sad thing is I think they only do care about making money. And if that's the case, I'm pretty sure the Devils are still making money despite struggling and will make money regardless of how this season ends up. And so it could just be the never-ending vicious cycle. Brandon, I think Keefe needs to completely redo our system, maybe switch to playing the trap. Play boring hockey. We need to win games. I don't know how quickly do you think a system change is going to stick to get results? I mean, it seemed like it was taking them a very long time to adjust to his system when he first got here. Now you're talking about switching the system with 20 games left in the season. What a shit show this season has become. I can't believe it. I really can't. I had such high hopes for this year after last season, after the epic letdown, and then what I thought was a very good, to no one's surprise, I thought it was a very good offseason by Fitz, and here we are, just calamity after calamity. Chico says that Van Walen, you're a moron. Get in your Honda and coach it to go faster than an F1 car. Luke, just awful. I'm going to put a few more down and call it a night. Good night, gentlemen. Let's go Devils. Good night, Luke. Cerberus, might as well try Foot for the last 20 so we see what we have. He has been in the system for so long now. If he doesn't score in 20, who cares? No one else does. SJ, the problem is our best forward prospects are too young. Jack says poor drafting has killed us. Nemitz, Stillman, Holtz, bad. Yeah, Stillman's looking more and more like he's never going to be anything. It's still too early to say on Nemitz, but obviously, you know, how much better would this team be with Logan Cooley right now or Shane Wright? I would say, you know, much better. Chico, I agree, too early to declare Nemitz bad. Cerberus, the fact that we are 4 points ahead of a terrible Blue Jackets team is insane, and they have 2 games in hand. Jack, you're right, but it burns knowing we could have had Shane Wright or Logan Cooley. Select the boy, all that talk from Nemitz, and he plays like shit when he had a chance to prove himself. That kind of bothered me as well. It's like if you go to and again, I do think it was blown out of proportion. I don't think he meant for it to take on the life that it did. But he had to know that anytime you give a quote like that to a journalist or newspaper, whatever the hell it was, when you serve up a quote like that, it's going to get kind of thrown out there and it's going to start a snowball kind of thing. And it did. And again, I don't think he meant for it to happen, but he had to be smarter than that, than to give up the juicy quote. And he struggled in some of those games. He's looked better in a couple of them as well. But that did rub me the wrong way a little bit. Michaela, has Chase Stillman played an NHL game this year? Another wasted draft pick. He has not played an NHL regular season game, and he very well could be a waste of a draft pick for sure. Jack says Stillman is a bust. Nolan Foote, another bust. Holtz is a bust. Chico Stillman was a terrible pick. Yeah, it was. Stanley 62495. Some positivity now. There's absolutely zero chance that we'll have to watch our mid team get curb stomped yet again by the Hurricanes. Silver lining. I'd rather see him get curb stomped. Brandon Thomas, for me personally, Scott Stevens is my number one pick for GM. That will never happen, sir. I will tell you that. Scott Stevens wants nothing to do with that job. Another guy that I would gladly give the keys to, but I don't think he has any interest. I think it'd be a good idea to interview some standout, impactful people from Tampa and Vegas front offices. Maybe some of the teams that typically draft really good as well. Yeah, drafting's good and fine, but you have to be able to have a pulse on your team and make moves in the season. And I think that's where Fitz's shortcomings are. I thought he had a great offseason, but now what is he going to do in season? Last year, he got us 2 goalies when it was far too late. What's he going to do in season now? And again, this whole Jack thing definitely plays a role. What's it, Toya? Our farm teams aren't doing good anymore either. I live in the Adirondack Thunder area, and the team is an absolute joke on ice. Thank God tickets are only like $25. I went to a couple Thunder playoff games last year. It was pretty fun. Stanley, Marty becoming GM is nightmare fuel. Absolutely not on board with that. If he wants the GM, do it elsewhere. It'd really suck for him to be at the helm and things to possibly go poorly. I mean, that's a chance you got to take, right? I'd rather it be that than what we're getting now. I mean, what are you gonna? You're gonna avoid the situation because of if it goes bad. I would take the chance personally. Luke, remember how awesome live was at the Christmas break? Yeah, I remember. It was all good just 2 months ago. Jay Snow says, if the Devils miss the playoffs, I don't even want to watch hockey anymore this season. I might be right there with you. Jay Snow says, yeah, but as a Czech reporter, supposedly that's not exactly what Nemeth said. Who really knows? David Chimes, Marty's great, love him, but he's such a, what the hell's a himbo? Should never be a GM, just a symbol, says lots of dumb things sometimes. Jason, I think Fitz realized last year they were way too soft and easy to play against. He did fix the defense in Golding, and to be fair, scoring was never our issue. No, I know, but it's been an issue for quite a while now, so it's like, what are you going to do about it? Chico, good player, good coach, GM. Just look at the Oilers basically the last 5 years. Brandon, I'm assuming when players are not performing, Keefe talks to them, and then over time, maybe they need to sit with Fitz and have a conversation. Maybe I'm thinking Fitz doesn't like to give players shit. There's probably no accountability with this team. There's only so much Keefe can do. If Fitz doesn't like to sit players, then players just get away with whatever they want. Sir Beerus, keep Marty away so we can keep our warm feelings for the man forever. Don't make us turn on him when he makes mistakes because it's a job you're going to lose. David Chime says Boo's face better than Marty. I don't think so. Chico, hell, even being a good coach doesn't mean you'll be a good GM. Look at what Barry Trotz has done to the Preds in like a year and a half. No, it's true. But in the end, I will take my chance with a guy like Marty who's been around the game and been a winner and has been around some of the greatest hockey minds to ever be involved in the sport. I mean, from Lou Lamoriello to Jacques Lemaire to Larry Robinson to just all the guys. You know, he played with Team Canada in a million World Cups and Olympics. He's been everywhere, and seen everything. I would take my chances with Marty, for sure. Jack, at least Keefe showed some balls and got ejected. Want to see some more heart like that? Maybe some players too. SJ Devils draft decently, but they trade them all away like Coleman, Zetz. Is that supposed to be Sharon Govich? Select the Boy says, I'm not worried about the Panthers getting Seth Jones. Who'd want him from that deal the Blackhawks signed for him? I don't know what that is exactly. Jack McCabe, the thing with Fitz is that it's understandable that the players suck, but he has seen this trash for several months now and nothing has been done. That is the issue. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I think the problems were well known. Van Walen, if scoring is the issue, then that's a Keefe issue. If he can't inspire this team, then who can? Van Walen, how about the fact that the bottom half of our roster is mostly AHL level players at this juncture? How can you just make them score? It's not there. Chico, he's not playing NHL 25. He can't go in and edit Eric Hall to 99. He can only put a system in place. Luke says Marty can't be worse than Boo's face. I 100% agree with you. And then Luke says the woman is next, though. Are you referring to Kate Madigan? I could see that. I could totally see that. Which, again, how are you not taking Marty over, no offense to Kate Madigan, but what is her experience in the world of hockey? Marty's been everywhere there is to be. I'm taking Marty over anyone. Chico, Timo Meyer's averaging an expected goals for of like a goal a game or something silly, but he has 2 and 20. The coaching part is getting those expected goals up, and players' part is actually scoring. Jack says Kate Madigan for GM. I'm all set on that for sure. Select the Boy at SST. I'm just saying he could have gotten someone else besides him. Luke says Dark Days. David Chimes ain't happening, but I'd love Bill Guerin as GM. Gets the Wild in almost every season, carrying tons of den cap. Would love Billy G, but I don't see him going anywhere. But would love Bill Guerin. Another. Would love to see him come home. Billy G returns home. What a great story that would be. Drafted by the Devils in 1989. Billy Guerin coming home would be nice. Sir Beerus, man, imagine if Sharon Govich was on this team next to Bratt and Hughes. Don't care. He isn't great on the Flames. We had chemistry on this team. Yeah, but he also got paid a lot last year, and he's kind of, what has he done this year? Is he fell off a cliff? No doubt he's better than a lot of guys on our roster now, but is Sharon Govich really worth what he's getting paid? Brandon, I'm pretty excited, though, to see what Fitz is going to do now for the trade deadline. Is going to be interesting for sure. What's it, Toya? I think the players are wildly underperforming. Who's going to motivate them, though? They're going to have to motivate themselves. Devs82, a Lemaire disciple would be a nice next GM when the time comes. Jack McCabe, people are making collages of photos of Jack Hughes holding his shoulder skating off the ice. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Chico, pass. Bill Guerin hired John Hines. Unforgivable. I'm going to look more at his player acquisitions and wheeling and dealings than who he picked as his coach. Stanley says, Dollar Bill Guerin is forever in my doghouse. Why? Because of him leaving? M. Sharp, I used to love watching Marty play. He used team against the net and look into the crowd during commercials. Treat to watch him play. Lean against the net. Okay. Van Walen, Chico, the Devs are in the East. The East is awful this year. The Devs have every opportunity to make it to the conference finals, but if Keefe can't make this team play to their potential, what is their potential, though? What is their potential? The potential is like the bottom six needs a lot of help. Sir Beerus, I'd be fine with Shango at 5.75 versus most of this team's contracts. Well, yeah, if you're comparing it to other bad contracts, but in the end, other bad contracts aside, would you want to pay him that money right now? I'm hoping you say no. SJ says not having the first hurts. That's what most teams ask for, the first. Yeah, it does. Luke, all joking aside, how can Boozeface sit there and be like, looks great? He's either incompetent, doesn't care, or a genius. I'm going with incompetent. David Chimes, I can't figure out why we haven't moved Cotter to center. He had good stats there in Vegas. Wanting to use him on the boards, but we have no center depth. I said that a few weeks ago. I thought when Nico was hurt at some point, we may see the Devils try him out at center, and for whatever reason, they haven't done it. But him and Mercer are both capable of playing center. Would like to see some things moved around. It's going to be very interesting to see what our lineup looks like Tuesday night. It's going to be real interesting. M. Sharp says, fumble texting now. I'm out. We'll see you next time. Jason, no, I'm out, Ace. This is straight depressing. I can't believe another season is down the shitter. I mean, it's not completely over yet, but it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. We'll see you next time, Snow. Sir Beer, Shango would have 30 goals next to Bratt and Hughes. I 100% will die on that hill. Okay. Insane Pollock, probably the analytics team. David. Jack McCabe, another year in the toilet, inexcusable. SJ and Zetz has blossomed as I expected. He might end up being one of the ones that got away, obviously, but you can't dwell on every move. It's just, I'm just depressed, guys. This was a real rough night. To lose the game the way we did, to potentially lose Jack Hughes for, it seems like at a minimum it's going to be a good amount of time. I mean, what is realistically the lowest anyone thinks that could be? A couple weeks, like on the low end, a couple weeks with on the high end season ending. I would imagine. I mean, that has to be on the table. Season ending injury. It's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. Stanley Ace, Garen's attitude after his holdout was one of the worst I've ever seen from a player that wore the logo. He flat out dogged it for weeks, forcing Lou to trade him. Sir Beerus, Zetterlund is better than Meyer right now. I guess, you know, I don't think so, but Brandon, the sad thing is if the team can score at least 2 goals, we can still win a lot of games. I agree with that. Man. What a dark time. It's crazy. It's a crazy time right now. I'm so curious to know when we get a definitive answer on Jack Hughes. They're probably going to make us wait for a while. I don't think it's going to be. We're going to be living in limbo for a while. I'm sure there's nothing. I'm trying to see if there's anything that got put out there, but there's no way. There's going to be nothing until what? Tomorrow, probably. I don't know, guys. This has just been a very depressing night. I'm hoping we all overreacted and Jack is fine, but nothing about that looked like it was fine. Chico's talking about how Keefe has maxed that out the potential, and I kind of believe that as well. Holla, Tatar, Palat, Dowling are not NHL players. David, I'll never be able to look at Fitz again and not think Boo's face from here on out thanks to this podcast. Jack, good night all. Hoping for a better tomorrow. I think we all are, but Devs82, Jack needs a mental coach. He looks like he lost his confidence since before Four Nations. After, not great, especially post this injury. The NHL, the NHL is hard. Boo's face fits. Yeah. If I don't laugh, I'll cry. I mean, I swear, what a just absolutely gutting night on so many levels. I'm trying to look at pictures here. Yeah, it looks like Jack is. It's hard to tell what the hell he's holding. Scott, I mean, LTIR money for a free agent with a healthy Hughes and hope the rest of the East struggles and we finish third in the Metro. We'll be okay, Ace, one day. Yeah, maybe. Is MM done for? Are you talking about Mike McLeod? Yeah, McLeod's never going to play in the league again, man. No matter what. Insane Pollock, I'll be shocked, Ace, if it's just a sprain like Markstrom was. Meadowlander, VW have enough to worry about with Laviolette and the shit show rag. Stop trolling here. Who's VW? Oh, Van Walen. Is Van Walen a... Do you guys know who Van Walen is? SJ says, at least you saw them win, Ace. I was too young. I know. I feel bad for the younger people that never knew winning. Or maybe you're better off never have knowing winning because it doesn't make the losing and the decade plus of just shit show teams. It might be easier to accept if you never knew winning. I don't really know. Is it one of those cases of ignorance is bliss? What happened to McLeod? He's got some pending legal case, and he's basically donezo as far as the NHL is concerned. Someone brought this up earlier. Apparently, yeah, this was brought up earlier. Van Walen, Ace, if Hughes is out for the rest of the season, do you go after someone like Strome or just sit this one out? I mean, I still try to make the playoffs. I don't know exactly. I don't know. Exactly what I'm never giving up. I'm never punting. I'm never giving up. And so I'm trying anyway, anyhow, to get into the playoffs and go as far as you can. What exactly does that look like with this group in the wake of what happened tonight? I can't say for certain right now, but I certainly would be looking to improve the team and continue to make a run towards the playoffs. I mean, that's, I'm a playoffs or die guy. And I'm not going to let a, Jack Hughes injury kind of completely change my process. Now, does it affect things a little bit? I think it has to, but you still got to try, especially because of how last year, if last year we made the playoffs and there was, we won a couple rounds or something, maybe it'd be different. Probably not much different. But the fact that you told the fans or didn't tell the fans, but you made it evident that you were punting on the season, I don't think you get away with that 2 years in a row, nor should you. It's pathetic. We were a once proud franchise, and it all just fell apart. This was the third period from hell tonight. Completely terrible. Van Whalen, I'm a Rangers fan paying Bergen County taxes. Jersey's my second favorite team since I was a kid. How can you possibly like the Rangers and the how can you like the Rangers and the Devils? That's a very odd one to me. Van Whalen, but man, Bergen County taxes. Sheesh. That's not a fun I know that's not fun. Jersey's the extortion state. Sir Beers, the East looked so open for us a month ago. 2 months ago, we were looking like one of the best teams in the league. Yo, Holmes, Country Club Keefe hired by Boozeface Fitz. Man, I think Boozeface is going to be that moniker. Probably will never go away. Now it seems like Luke has given him a new nickname that's going to stick with a lot of you. Chico, Country Club Keefe keeping this team in the playoffs. I like Keefe. I've said that before. Anyone blaming Keefe, at some point you have to say the roster has holes. What the hell is Fitzgerald doing? We all knew we needed a real top six going into the season. We were hoping Mercer or Tatar or somebody was going to step up and magically fill that role. But guess what? It didn't happen because none of them are that dude, right? So we don't have a top six. That's gone on all year. And then the bottom six has just been a complete disaster. And so now Sheldon Keefe has to juggle lines and try to make, potato salad out of shit. He doesn't have the ingredients. Hopefully, I'd like to see him give some other Utica kids a try, but I think we're at the point now where he values experience over the potential upside gamble on a young guy. So I think you're just going to see more of the same. You're just going to see the same guys. Maybe McDermott gets a game or two to see if that brings any juice to the lineup. But at this point, because of how important the games are, it's possible we don't see McDermott again either. It's unfortunate. I think it's worth throwing him in for a game or two to see how the team responds. But right now, the offense, specifically that bottom six, is looking real bad. What's a toy? I'll always be a Devils fan. As stupid as it makes me look sometimes, I'd rather be loyal than a bandwagoner. Oh, I'll be on this sinking ship forever. But it's getting more and more painful with each passing season. Brandon Thomas, seems like every game someone has been getting injured. I think 2025 Devils Murphy's Law is just running rampant. Just worst case scenario after worst case scenario. It's just brutal. That I thought worst case scenario really for in terms of a whole season. I thought that was last year with the whole McLeod thing and all the injuries. Turns out this year may give it a run for its money. For sure. Jeff, I picked hell of a third period to miss tonight. I want to go back to pretending none of that happened. If only it were that easy, Jeff. If only it were that easy. I have some females from the past in my life that I wish we could just pretend never happened. But just like the third period for the Devils, that is not an option. And here we are. Jeff, it's just our entire season over. No biggie. Man. Van Whalen, I grew up with a lot of Devs fans. Was great watching Marty play in his prime. Nothing like the great Martin Brodeur in his prime. What an era. What a time to be alive. I knew I was spoiled at the time watching greatness between Marty and Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermayer. Not only 3 All-Stars, not only 3 Hall of Famers, you're talking 3 of the top 100 players of all time. When the NHL came out with their top 100 list, Marty Brodeur, Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, all on the list. And to have them all on a team concurrently for years and years, to go on Stanley Cup championship winning runs and other deep playoff runs that didn't win a cup, but to see them all together for all those years under Lou Lamoriello with legendary coaches in and out, Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson, and then we had the best play-by-play guy in the history of hockey, if not sports, and Mike Doc Emmerich in the booth. Oh my God, what a childhood. What an absolutely legendary childhood as far as the Devils are concerned that I myself and all the other fans got. And it'll never be the same. but what a run it was. SJ, I just want to witness it once, then I'm good. I would love to see it more than once. I think that's kind of became my motto. Probably once I hit 30 years old, I was like, am I ever going to see a cup again? I just want to see another one before I croak. And it's sad to set the bar that low, but I'm afraid that's really what it is now. Roman Czechmonic says, I'm not worried about scoring goals. Fits before the season. And after the season we had last year, you could kind of understand why he said that. It made sense at the time. Yeah, it'd be curious. It would be a curious kind of question, right? It's like, oh, Fitz, we just wanted to follow up on this. Are you concerned about scoring goals yet? Or are you concerned about scoring goals now? Because this Devils team, I believe, has been shut out 7 or 8 times. Absolutely cheeks. Luke, Fitz gave himself the nickname Drink after drafting Stillman. Horrible asset management, all the while booze faced up. Oh, select the boy. Stefan Nason seems to be the only one that's playing hard every night. I think there's a couple other guys too. I love me some Stefan Nason though. The junkyard dog. Yo, Holmes says it could be worse. You could be called Booze Face. Nason wishing he never left Carolina. Chico, Devils are going to make the playoffs. This is where Meyer moves back up to power play 1 and starts scoring in bunches. Nico takes on more of a role offensively. There's still talent on this team. There is, but man, it's certainly getting more and more painful with each passing week. Evan says, I was born in the year they won, 2003. What a great run that was. Love that. 2003 is my favorite team. SJ, I predict a lot of close wins, losses. Jack scored every game. We are underestimating his absence, in my opinion. I'm not. The second I saw him get up or the second I saw him go down, before he even got up, clutching his arm and wrist, I was like, that's probably the season. Chico, I was 10 for the 02-03 season. They were not objectively bad until I was like 21 years old. That streak spoiled me so much. Yeah, man. I was a 17-year-old senior in high school driving to those epic playoff games in 03. It was beautiful. Selected boy, I was 6 years old when the Devils won the cup in a sweep in 95. I was 9. What a run. Claude Lemieux, what a legend. Brandon, shut out 7 or 8 times. How about our 1-goal games as well? Just brutal. Yeah. Luke, 2012 loss hurt more than 94, 96, or losing to the Avs because you knew that was it for Marty and Elias. I could see that point. It did seem like the last hurrah for Marty to grab one at the tail end of his career. It would have been nice. Chico, I'm now 32, and I can't say they've been objectively good since that 2012 run. No. The 22-23 season, that was it. That was it. Franchise record points, beat the Rangers in 7, and then it's just been misery ever since. All right, guys, I got to take a leak. You know the drill. It's getting late. Any comments, questions, thoughts? Throw it out there in the comments, and I'll start winding this thing down when I get back. But what a night. I mean, wow. What a night. Devils lose a heartbreaker, and we potentially lose Jack Hughes for the season, or I would imagine at a minimum a couple weeks. I would love to be wrong, and tomorrow they're like, psych, there's nothing wrong with Jack. He'll be back, but I just don't see it. We dodged a bullet with everyone thought Luke was going to be out long term at the end of that second period in Utah, and he came out for the third period. But tonight we weren't getting the same result. He went crashing in. It seemed like he was really hurt, and I'm sure we'll find out the real diagnosis in a couple days. But this really could be a massive hit to, either our chance of making the playoffs or what they could actually do in the playoffs. And it could also severely kind of mold what Fitz will or will not do in these next 4 days leading up to the deadline. So it's just there's a huge domino effect on that. But gonna take a leak. Throw out your comments, questions, whatever you got, throw it out there, and I'll slowly work my way through them and wrap this thing up. But what a night. I'll be back. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You guys are still fighting in the chat. Wow. I'm gonna have one more nightcap, right? Why the hell not? What a painful night. Cheers to my Devils fans still in here. I don't know. There's Rangers fans in here. Who the hell knows who's here anymore? The only thing I know is that this is a very, very painful night. One I'll never forget. March 2nd, 2025. The night that dreams may have died. Not officially, but maybe. Select the Boy says, I knew we were in big trouble if Jack is hurt. I mean, yeah, I think everybody kind of thought that. You know. Yo, Holmes. Lots of 100 NHL players rolled through NJ. So many legends. Aside from Marty, Stevens, and Niedermeyer, I know Joe Neuendijk was on that list. Shout out to Joe Neuendijk. Love me some Joe Neuendijk. He was on that list. Was Dave Andrechuk on that list? I don't remember if Andrechuk was on there. He was not. I'm scrolling the list right now to see what other guys I'm forgetting. I know Neuendijk. I don't know how many others were really on the list. Oh, Yager. How could I forget Yager? Shame on me. Yager. Man, Jaromir Yager on the Devils. Jacques Lemaire is on there as a player, but he was a coach for the Devils, but I guess you still count him. Adam Oates also on the coaching staff. He's on here for being a player, but he was here on the coaching staff for a little bit. Larry Robinson, obviously, on the coaching staff. Yeah, it's crazy that we had three guys on the coaching staff that were on here as players. Larry, Jacques, and Adam Oates. Shanny. How did I forget Shanny? Man, shame on me. It's late at night. What talent we saw, Yo Holmes. My God. Behind the bench and on the ice. What's it, Toy? I've only seen two as I was born just before they won in 95. I want to see the cup come back again so bad. It bugs me how worried I am with Jack being hurt, knowing we don't have depth. Yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Chico, you know I always wash my hands. Brandon, they might need to go hire some priests or something and go cleanse that stadium. Something is haunting that building for the Devils to be bad. I've always thought the Prudential Center was cursed. Nothing good really has ever happened there. The only two things, in my opinion, of note that happened in the Prudential Center, which is now going on, we moved there like 17 years ago. Marty broke the NHL all-time wins record. He recorded his 552nd win on March 17th, 2009 against the Chicago Blackhawks at the Prue. And then obviously knocking out the Rangers in that sixth game of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. Henrique, it's over. Exercising the demons of Stéphane Matteau in the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals. Bitter, bitter loss the Devils suffered at the hands of the Rangers. But outside of that, not much has happened at the Prudential Center. Chico, just on a personal level, I feel bad for Jack. Like, whatever our complaints about him on the ice, this is what, his like fourth major injury and he's 23. Got to be brutal. Yeah, for sure. Chico says Marner disappears every playoffs. You can't coach that if someone, they need a sports therapist. Luke says, what's the updates on the live bar show and the call-in setup? I have to, there's a software thing. It's all annoying. The only way I could do it right now is to do it through the speakers, and it's super loud and it's late, so I don't want to do it. But maybe by next week, I'll spend some time playing with the software so I could kind of integrate it into here. Luke, franchise is a loser. It's all about everything but winning. Fallen very far from what Lou built. I agree. Completely agree. Evan, I'm so glad I met her channel. This helps with the sadness. Yeah, cheers to you, Evan. Thanks, man. I try, but this is just what a devastating hand we were all dealt tonight. Metalander, board, Nason, it's supposed to say Nason. Nason said about our top six. Well, he didn't say specifically our top six, but he said, you know, that we were trying to play too cute. He also said there's no care before he was shut down. Luke says I'm going to be booze face at work tomorrow. Luke Yager should get a call. He's better than most of the bottom 6. What a publicity stunt that would be. Bringing Jaromir Jagr back. My God. Stanley at Chico. Well said about Jack. Really strong chance he may never realize his true potential due to injuries. It absolutely sucks. That would be horrible. Van Whalen. Okay, Chico. Just remember what I said. The next year, Devs fans will be calling for Keefe's head. Listen, if he gets a real roster and fails with it, but like he doesn't have a real NHL roster right now. It's hard for me to blame Keefe in any shape or form right now. Joseph, you'll never be better than the Rags. Oh, come on. Come on, little Joe. Come on, little Joe. You were in diapers the last time the Rangers won anything, my friend. Devils won 3 cups since then. Come on. Let's not be crazy. The numbers don't lie. Ryder, just tuning in, but wanted to say that I don't think Eichel intentionally hurt Jack per se, but that shit was dangerous to clip skates out at that point in the play. No, absolutely. I don't think he did it on purpose either, but the end result was the end result. Terrible. Luke, Prue Center isn't the issue. Vanderbeek going broke and the scumbag venture capitalists. Buying a team is the curse. Good news is they're financially stable. Yeah, they're not selling the team anytime soon. They're an investment. And I'm pretty sure they are earning money for them. Roman, it's sad because a playoff run would be even better than it would have been back in the days. We have more fans. They're just in waiting. We have a lot of fair weather fans, I think. And that's unfortunate. I think that exists with every team in every sport. Tons of people all of a sudden start buying jerseys and hats when a team is going on a playoff run, and it'd be no different with the Devils. And we saw it with the Devils and the Rangers, I think, in that 22-23. A lot of people probably going to games for the first time pretending they were some hardcore fans. And, they just got their jerseys at the local Dick's, but that's just kind of how sports fans operate. Evan, ever since the beginning of the season, I've been riding with you, Ace. They won't change. Thanks, man. That won't change. Got it. Luke, get the call set up going and let's get the live bar show. Has to be good for the channel. Maybe we can get Booze Face to show up. SST says, remember, Ace is going to give verdict on Fitzgerald after the trade deadline. Goated channel. Thank you, SJ. Luke, one thing I hate is that the Rags are setting themselves up to go huge in the offseason. Probably going to block. I don't know what that is. Probably going to block something. Chico, if Gritsu can come in and just be a 50-point guy that solves so much for this team. Yeah, but that's next year's help. Van Whalen, Ace, Keefe's Leaf team was better than this Devs team, and he couldn't do it with all the talent there. I'm going to disagree. Did he have more high-end talent? Yes. I would argue that this defensive core is better, and he has a real goalie. A lot of, he never really had a goalie. I do think this defense and goalie situation is way better than what he had in Toronto. Now, was his forward group better in Toronto? Probably. Yeah, I mean, he had better forwards, but which one would you rather have? A real goalie and a much better defense, or the forwards? I guess it just depends on the team in the year, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. If they even make the playoffs, what Fitz does. This just throws a whole monkey wrench into the whole situation. Just short of the deadline, I don't know. I'm afraid it could be the perfect excuse for them just to say, no, we're not going to use assets. This isn't the right time. We're without Jack Hughes, and that would be catastrophic. Chico says that Leafs team will never win a cup. God himself could come down and coach them. They'll still choke in Game 7s. Ryder 64, it's now or never for Fitz. If he doesn't do anything, let alone something great, his ass is grass. I'm out of patience for this patience. I think a lot of people are there too. Luke, just come in and be a 50-point guy. LOL. Why not a 100-point rookie? Chico, Keefe has never had a defense as good as he has in NJ. I just said that. And goalie as well. Who did he have? Evan says, Joseph, are you still mad about 2023? Yo, Holmes, I still think we are going to win, but that just be my booze face talking. Meadowlander, big cup. Big brother has 1 cup in 85 years. I'll take little brother. Oh boy, guys. Why is this the team I had to be born into? This was the team I was born into. New Jersey. This was my fortune. And it was a great start to my career. I can't complain. The first 10 years of being a Devils fan was tremendous. And the next 22 or 23 years, the next 23 years have been pain and misery. Chico says Devils are little brother. He says alone in a Devils chat at 1 a.m. because he has no friends. Selected boy at Joe, the same ones that won a cup in this millennium, unlike the Rags, so settle down. Rags are behind Columbus. Let that sink in. SST, Devils have a good defense. You learn something new every day. It's definitely better than what he had in Toronto. Brandon says, I'm Canadian. I can't even watch the games. Why the hell did I choose this team as well? Why did you choose this team, Brandon? How did that even happen? Luke says, saw Devils can lose 60% and make it. I think they make it. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard for them to qualify for a wild card. But, you know, not what. It's just terrible. I just can't really believe that this is the reality. Michael, good morning from Finland. Trade every European player from my Devils. Ryder, cheers, bro. Shitty night. Been a minute since I turned in, let alone for a gross night. Maybe this will wake the team up. I don't know. On to the next game. Good night. Chico says it could be worse, man. We could be Coyotes fans. That's true, and have our team stripped from us. Luke, spoiled ace. I had the tail end of losing, but I was too young to care, plus no social media. Who reminded the locker room channel in NJ12? SJ was sad when the Nets left New Jersey. I was a pretty, not like a diehard fan or anything, but I was a pretty avid Nets fan when they were in New Jersey, and was able to see some really great playoff games with that core they had, which was super fun and exciting to watch. Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin. They went to the finals twice and ran into dynasties. Shaq and Kobe got them one series, and then they ran into Tim Duncan and the Spurs the next. Yeah, unfortunate that we lost them. Brandon, the Devils' history watching Scott Stevens crush people and Martin Brodeur made me pick this team. Legends. To be able to live through it live was phenomenal. Luke Teague, Nets equal Jason Kidd's giant head. Oh, you're terrible. Leave little TJ Kidd alone. Van Walen, Rangers are going to dump Drury and Lavie at the end of the season. Rangers fans want a full rebuild. I did not want JT Miller. Selected boy, they might be back. They aren't doing anything worthwhile in Brooklyn. Is that a real rumor? No way. I don't think they would draw New Jersey. Has the Brooklyn thing been a failure? That would be crazy. I would love to see the Nets move back, but I can't see it. That would be crazy, though. Luke, I cared about the Nets because they are an NJ and had dirt cheap tickets. Yeah, same thing as me. I was a huge NBA fan when I was a kid. Mid 90s, late 90s NBA was a phenomenal product. A far cry from the garbage that it is today. But, sharing a building with the Devils, obviously, it was a fun time to be a New Jersey sports fan. Brandon, I'm born in 99. And in 2013, it all started. My dad showed me the Scott Stevens hit highlights and got onto the Devils tandem. Very nice. Chico says the Nets aren't leaving Brooklyn. Michael, basketball is a failure in general. I kind of agree. Yo Holmes. So, Ace, what do you anticipate Boozeface Fitz doing at the deadline? I really don't know. Before tonight, my prediction was that he was going to get a bottom six guy. I was hoping for much more, but my prediction was he gets a bottom six guy. At this juncture, I don't even know now. I got to really sit back and think about this. I guess a lot of it depends on what is the Jack Hughes diagnosis. But either way, even if they say, whether Hughes is out for until the playoffs or if he's out indefinitely through the playoffs, I still think you have to do something to try to, the team is you can't just give up the season because he's hurt. They're in a playoff spot right now and they need help. And obviously if Jack is gone, they need even more help, but it's horrible. I don't know. Luke says, I can't type sober. These phones suck. Chris says, this Ranger fan is out of his mind. Drury is great and Miller is a warrior. I don't know how you wouldn't be excited about JT Miller if you're a Rangers fan. I was hoping the Devils were going to kick the tires on him. Selected boy, good night, fellas. Let's go Devils. Van Walen, ever since they parted with Durant, that team has not been the same. I mean, the Nets were dysfunctional when they had, at the same time, they had Kevin Durant, James Harden, and who was the third one? Kyrie Irving, right? They had, how do you have those three guys and do nothing with it? Durant, Harden, and Kyrie Irving. I mean, wow. I do think all three of them are head cases in their own separate ways. I think Durant is a head case, as is Harden, as is Kyrie Irving. But my God, how do you not do anything with that? My interest was definitely kind of peaking again. I was like, oh, maybe the Nets are going to do something with these three guys. They do nothing. Wild. Chico says, Rangers can't rebuild after giving Shesterkin the sun and the moon. Evan, I'm a Nets fan too. That era was terrible. Chico, getting all through was a huge mistake. If they added Durant to that 2019 Nets team, they end up way better. Jeff, praying for a miracle on the prognosis. Have a great night, y'all. Good night. Luke, Ace taking a tough drink there. Reacted as most of us to this team. Chris, I don't like the Igor contract at all, but what can you do? I'd like to believe Dylan Garand is more than capable. Irving is a prima dominant, and Harden is one-dimensional and also a bit of a diva. Yo, Holmes, NJ Devils, multiple-time Team America captains, Langenbrenner, Gianta, Parisi. Devils, American gangsters, the three of them. Roman Czechmonic, him and Kyrie were a package. If anything goes right, then they would have at least came close to a championship. There weren't tons of injuries and stuff. Didn't they only play like a handful of games, all three of them? What a weird era. Michael says, Devils need to do a trade with the Knucks. Please tell me you're not talking about Quinn Hughes. Chico was never going to go right through. Might as well have let them walk and kept building around Jarrett, Allen, and D'Lo. Quinn just got hurt. Red Devil NJ played better tonight than in some of the games they've won. Just glad to see a team that looked like they actually wanted to win. I thought they were in it for the first 2 periods, and then it all fell apart in the third. 2 power play goals. Evan says, you know why, Ace? Because we hired Steve Nash as the coach, and he was terrible. Luke, I saw a lot of the NJ played well, and even Dana was talking up their play. They lost 2-0. I don't want to hear it. Michael, Brock Besser is available for rental. Insane Pollock, you know the Devil season has hit rock bottom when NBA talk enters the chat. Yeah, don't you know it? What a terrible. SJ, you should have kept Kako, though. Bad trade. Now we're talking Rangers. Chico, they played crazy low, like 20 games with all 3 in 3 seasons. All right, anything else, guys? This is painful, man. I just can't believe what this night consisted of. Closing time. Finish your whiskey, your beer. Is this a Rags NBA chat? No. This is just what happens in times like this. Late night, just random thoughts. Random thoughts at random times. David Chimes, pick for Eastern Conference champ right now and cup winner. Man. Eastern Conference. I'm going to go. I'm torn between the Panthers and Lightning. I'm torn between the Panthers or Lightning, and I'm going to pick them to win it. I'm going to go Panthers or Lightning over. The West is weird for me. Probably Vegas or Edmonton, but the West has so many good teams. Like, can Winnipeg finally do it? I think Hellebuck's going to get hot and really hold it down. I'm going to go Panthers over Jets in the final. I'm going to go Lightning over Jets. I'm going to go Panthers, Lightning, Battle of Florida, Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, shit. I'm terrible with this. Is that even possible with these stupid brackets and the way they do the freaking playoffs now? I'd have to even look at it. If that's possible, I think the 2 Florida teams could play in the Eastern Conference Finals if that's possible. I forget with the way they do it now. It's always my brain is always in the old format. But I'm going to go Lightning come out of the East and the Jets in the West. I'm going Lightning over Jets. Chico says Devils and 6 over the Golden Knights. Oh, I would love to see it. I'm standing by it. SJ says, I think the Avs. I could see them doing it too. Brandon, thanks for the stream, Ace. It calmed me down for sure. I don't get mad easy. It takes a lot for me to get angry, but when we lost the game today by a shutout, I was pissed off. It's been a while. Yeah, man. It happens. Insane Pollock says Florida repeats. Chris, Panthers or Lightning? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lightning. Red Devil, Eichel should have gotten 2 minutes of that hit on Jack. Devils got penalties, tons of unintentional stuff the whole game. Eichel injures a star player and nothing. Val says Columbus will win it all. David says Knights over Leafs. Van Walen, Keefe is going to start messing around with the lines and ruin whatever chemistry was there. Hopefully Hughes will return. Chris says if Lightning gets Tuck, it's a toss-up. Is that a rumor? Chico, Florida is not going to repeat without Kachuk. Is he out for the year? I saw that he was put on LTIR. Chris says those are my top 4, Ace. I agree. Yeah, it's hard to go against teams that have been there before with the experience, and I always favor teams that have money goalies. And I think Edmonton, a lot of people are picking Edmonton. I I don't think they're going to get there despite not having a great goalie. And I think the Lightning are going to come on, and with Vasilevsky, I think Lightning and again the Jets, I'm relying heavily on them because obviously they're a great team, but Hellebuck I think is gonna really carry them. But we're gonna see. I think you're gonna see a lot of big money goalies take their teams far. Red Devil, good on Keith for giving the officials hell. They absolutely deserved it. Joseph says Oilers in 5 Stanley Cup champs. Van Walen, Panthers over Oilers game 7. Oh, a rematch of last year, eh? Luke says Vegas over Florida in 6. Chico, I've heard Kachuk might be done for the season. I'm not sure. I saw they put him on LTIR. Insane Pollock, F Vegas, especially after tonight. Chris, Oilers might land Binnington. Are they shopping him? That's interesting. Brandon, Florida ain't going anywhere without Matthew Kachuk. He's the heartbeat for their team. Yeah, if he's out long term, that's in my opinion a devastating blow to their lineup that I don't know. You know, that definitely severely hinders their chances of going on a big run, in my opinion. Yeah, they're still capable of, I think, winning a couple rounds without him. But in terms of, you know, going on like a return trip to the finals type run, I don't know that they're going to have that in them without Kachuk. You guys know, or at least the regulars, you guys know how I feel about the Kachuk brothers. Absolute unicorns. Just complete beasts. Luke, Devils fall to 4th in the division, losing 4 to Washington. First time swept in franchise history. I think we match up pretty well with Washington. I'd be shocked if we got swept by them. Chris, would that change your opinion on Edmonton if they land Jordan Binnington? Absolutely. Even though I don't think Binnington is like a star goalie, he could raise his game, and he's got a cup. And I single-handedly was in the stands and saw Binnington rob Austin Matthews on the doorstep. One of the biggest saves I've ever seen live. Matthews had the Four Nations championship game on his stick, and Binnington robbed him point blank, and he made a few good saves in that overtime. I do think Binnington's one of those guys that could kind of potentially be rejuvenated by a change of scenery on a team. I still wouldn't pick them to beat the Eastern Conference team, I don't think. But I do think that would definitely help Edmonton. They're obviously very weak in net. David Chimes, don't sleep on Toronto. No big weaknesses anywhere there and lots of stars. Cup winning coach to turn around playoff psych issues. I don't know. I just feel like they're a cursed franchise. For sure. The bigger save was on Brady. Bigger than the one Austin Matthews, and he was right on the doorstep. I mean, the Brady one was good too. He had tons of good saves. What a terrible finish. Even though it was a, quote unquote meaningless tournament, it was very exciting. Red Devil, I'd have said Florida before Kachuk went on IR. Now I say either Tampa or the Jets, although Jets are dependent on Hellebuck stealing games against some of the more aggressive teams. Chico, Markey is good enough that they at least steal a game. McDavid and Draisaitl. Chico, the Leafs core will never make it to a final. I agree with that. I think they're cursed. They will choke as always. Without Florida and Carolina sucking, we could win around in the playoffs. Evan says, if we don't score any goals against Ottinger, I'm going to be livid. Oh, man. If we get shut out in back-to-back games, that'd be terrible. Brandon, seems like a lot of playoff teams really fell off in 2025. Yeah, a lot of parity in the NHL, guys. Not easy to win games. Even the bad teams, I talk about this all the time, even the bad teams have good players and can win and beat anyone on any given night. That is the beautiful part of our beautiful sport of hockey, especially when a goalie's playing well. Bad teams can beat good teams. It's all just how it goes. That's it. I'm delirious. Furious. I don't know what happened. Oh, shit. I'm knocking my drink over. That's it, guys. The Devils lose a painful one. One of the more painful losses of the season. get shut out by the Golden Knights in Vegas 2-0. Jack Hughes, we don't know what the hell happened, and hoping for the best, but it did not look good. He's probably injured, and hopefully we find out more tomorrow in the upcoming days. I don't know, but wow, don't know. But hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out. I'm depressed, and could be another season down the drain. We'll see what Fitz does this week. I'll have a bunch of stuff probably about the trade deadline in the next few days. I'm trying to get the third part of the Cam Jansen interview out. I got some other stuff in the works that I have to edit. I'm a little bit behind on my editing. All this stuff takes forever. Everything takes time, so I'm trying to catch up. But that stuff will be coming out soon. And that's all I got, guys. I'm a broken man tonight. March 2nd, broken man. And it's painful. Thank you all for coming out. It's been quite the ride. And it's depressing. Maybe I'll, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. But that's it. I'll be back soon. Devils back in action Tuesday night against the Stars. And who knows what the lineup's going to look like. We'll all find out. And that's it. Signing off. Cheers. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.